joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike you out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashin' for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earned route. And working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scarred bitch. That's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. Dig. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. One of them joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for Okay. What's happening? Get my IG peoples up in here. Okay, we should be live on IG and YT. What's happening with y'all, man? Yeah, we're gonna chop some good game. Y'all already know what to do, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. The thing that look like that there. And y'all already know my first order of business. I got to hydrate my game. Put some love in my body. Yes. All right. We're going to get right to it, man. That's the link right there. If you want to join the chat, chop game, talk to the P. The link is right there. I got a feeling it's going to be a good one tonight, man. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Okay. So now the comment is pinned. You see the pinned comment, man. Those of you who wish to join the chat and have any questions that you would like to discuss, go ahead, hit the link and join, and let's talk about it. I see y'all up in here. Let me see. Come on, man. It's 91 of y'all up in here, but only 52 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain. Come on, man. Do a pimp a favor. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. Look at my brother. Bill kicking the dough down. Good looking with the $2 holla. Glory to God for this game. Long live Sinful to P. Blessings. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bill, I ain't got it in yet today. But, well, I guess you could say that's today. I really count that as last night, but I got a late night session in. I was at the gym at like 1 or 2 o'clock. Well, I was there from about 12:30 to about somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock last night. I was at the gym. But right after this live stream is over with, I'm going straight to the gym. You dig? And today is calves, arms, shoulders, and I might throw some abs and cardio in at the end, depending on how I feel. We'll see. For me, this is my longest day. Arms, shoulders, calves day is the longest day for me. On this day, I usually be in there a good 3 hours doing all of that. So, Raw Culture Report with KY. That's cute. Are you the new Kevin Samuels? Nah. If you go back and pay attention to me, you know I've been on YouTube probably as long as Kevin Samuels. But if you go back and study my history on YouTube, and if you knew me even before I got on YouTube, you would know that, you know, this is regular. This is called grown man shit. It's unfortunate that, you know, Kev was one of few grown-ass men to get on YouTube and dress like a grown ass man, you know, and chop game with y'all. But, you know, this ain't nothing new, you know, but blessings to you though. But no, I'm not the new Kevin Samuels. I'm the same old Freeze. You dig? Freeze is it. Much love to Kev. You know, long live Kevin Samuels. But no, Freeze is Freeze. Don't be scared to hit that link, man. Marcel Davis says, the main thing I learned from the game is value yourself over everything. Yeah, I mean, you know, depending on how you live your life, you know, you would want to value God over everything, and then yourself, and then everything and everybody else. K-Town 440 says, everyone who watched Sinful and Freeze knew Kevin learned the game and game and knowledge from them. Yeah, you know, Kev, he was his own man. So I don't want to give the impression like, you know, Kev, you know, stole from us or he copied us or nothing like that. But you know, those people who know Kev's history on YouTube and knew Kev before he blew up and went viral, it's no secret that he learned from the pimping. And, you know, he adopted certain things from the pimping as his own, took it and ran with it. And he did it beautifully and masterfully, right? So, yeah, he was definitely influenced by, you know, gentlemen like us, and us in particular, but he still was his own man. You know, y'all got to keep in mind that, you know, most of you didn't even know who Kevin Samuels was until he was in his 50s, right? So this man lived 50-something years of life, which many of us have not even seen yet. Right? We haven't even seen the age of 50, a lot of us. Some of us have, but the majority of people in here haven't even seen 50 yet. And that man lived 50 plus years of life before most of the world was even introduced to him. So you got to understand that by the time somebody's 50 years old, who they gonna be, right? Most people don't become a brand new person at 50 years old. They are who they've been, right? So, you know, he was who he was, you know, all that time. You know, y'all just learned a different dimension of him. And even the people who were familiar with Kev and followed Kev before he went viral and before he started having women on his show, you know, those of you who remember, you know, Kev, he mostly did like image consulting. You know, if you go back and watch a lot of his old videos that are still on his channel before he went viral, like from early 2020 on back, you know, you see a lot of him giving reviews on cologne and, you know, how to put a suit together and, you know, for men, how to keep their hygiene and grooming up to par. You know, he did a lot of that, right? But he still was who he was. You know, he just figured out how to introduce y'all to a more raw side of himself, right? Because in those videos where he was, you know, like I said, before he went viral and revamped his channel and was just giving, you know, tips on how to dress and groom yourself and whatnot, you know, he didn't really display much of his personality. So to a lot of you, it might have appeared that he was just some boring guy, you know, giving you advice about cologne and suits and whatnot. How to keep your image up to par. But it's not so much that he was boring. Like I said, he just didn't introduce a lot of you to, more of himself. Like I said, the more raw version of himself. So it's a lot that you didn't know, even still to this day. Like I said, he lived 50 years of life before y'all knew him. So it's a lot that you don't know about him, right? 50 years worth of not knowing, very much about him. So, he was influenced by certain things that he saw the pimping doing on YouTube, and he put that together with who he already was, right? It wasn't like he became some brand new person. He was who he was, right? So, and again, like I said, as far as the pimping go, myself, Sinful the P, Andre Taylor, if you go back and watch a lot of our content from before Kev went viral, you'll know that, we've been who he was. Just like he's been who he was, right? And even now, if you just stay tuned in to a pimp, you'll learn that Freeze is very much different from Kevin Samuels. We may have a similar presentation with the suit and, the microphone and the laptop and the desk and all that type of stuff. But, if you just listen to, what's being said in this content, you'll understand that, nah, this ain't Kevin Samuels. This is the pimping. But what I liked about Kev is that he respected the pimping and he had admiration for the pimping, and he didn't deny the fact or shy away from the fact that he learned from the pimping, right? So shout out to Kev. Much love to Kev, you dig? And I got to say this too. Like, this is what a lot of people are afraid to say, because they be in their ego. But just as much as Kev learned from the pimping, I'll be the first to say that I learned some things from him, right? Especially when it comes to this YouTube shit, right? Like, and that's one thing that was cool about Kev too. Just like he'll soak up game, he'll drop game on you too. Like I remember, this is way before he went viral, right? Back when we used to be on O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel, and O'Shea used to have, shout out to O'Shea, he used to have the Sunday Rumbles where, he'll have Sinful on, myself, and, a bunch of other people. The guy, Phil, I can't remember his name, Phil something, but the big dude, Phil, Super Sly with his lame ass, Ramel with his weird ass, and a bunch of other people. A lot of the people that O'Shea used to have on the Sunday Rumbles was cool. They was good peoples, but some of them was lame and weird, But to the pimping, a lot of people was lame and weird. But he would have Kev on there as well. Kevin Samuels would be on there. Sinful would be on there. I was on there occasionally, but I wasn't on there as much as they were, right? But I was on there. I was on a good number of Sunday Rumbles. It was cool. It used to be fun, right? But way back then, this is way before Kev went viral. Way before. This is when Kev probably had, 20,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? And, Kev used to tap into my lives, and he was the one that, let me know like what kind of microphone to get, because my audio was trash back then. You know what I mean? So he gave me some game on a microphone to use, and I took that and it helped me out. You know what I mean? So just little stuff like that's just one of many examples though, like just as much as he would soak up game, he would give game too. So, shout out to Kev, long live Kevin Samuels. And of course, long live Sinful the P. And much love to O'Shea Duke Jackson. A lot of y'all just know O'Shea for the celebrity junk. and the Dusty News Network and all that type of stuff, man. But you know, O'Shea is like how Sonetta, and shout out to Sonetta, but like how Sonetta is like the he's like the Sonetta is like the I can't really think of the right term, but a lot of people in the conscious community on YouTube, you know, was either influenced by Sonetta or helped by Sonetta and, you know, put on by him. You know, he's kind of like the great grandfather for a lot of people on YouTube in the conscious community. Sonetta is, right? A lot of people come up under Sonetta and got game from him. You know, he put a lot of people on, helped a lot of people, right? When it comes to the quote unquote manosphere, black manosphere, that's how O'Shea was. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all don't know that O'Shea really helped Kevin Samuels out a lot. O'Shea gave all of us a lot of game. You know what I mean? He gave Sinful to P a lot of game. He gave myself a lot of game. He gave Kevin Samuels a lot of game. He gave Alpha Male Strategies a lot of game. That other young cat, Steph something. Steph, I can't remember his name, but it's Steph something. Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all know who I'm talking about. But he gave that cat a lot of game. No, O'Shea didn't pass away, man. I'm just giving O'Shea his props. I'm giving him his flowers while he's still here. O'Shea is alive and well, you know what I mean? O'Shea over there in Uganda tricking like a motherfucker, you know what I mean? O'Shea probably got some big booty African chick over there right now, you know what I mean, having his way. You dig? But shout out to O'Shea, man. You know, he over there living his best life in Africa, man. Steph is cold. That's what I was thinking of. O'Shea gave him a lot of game. You know, so again, like I say, when it comes to the quote unquote black manosphere, even though I don't think Kev considered himself part of the manosphere, Sinful and myself definitely ain't part of the manosphere, but you know, we rubbed elbows with a lot of them people. But O'Shea gave a lot of people game, man. And what I like about O'Shea is that he ain't no hater, because he wanted to see people blow up and be bigger than him. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to see Kev blow up the way that he did. Steph is cold. Alpha Male Strategies. You know, he wanted to see them people blow up to be as big as they was. You know, O'Shea was never a hater. You know, so that's what I appreciate about O'Shea, man. He gave us a lot of game. He used to be on me and Sinful's bumper back in the day. You know, always telling us like how, man, y'all supposed to be so big, man. Y'all fronting on this YouTube shit, man. Y'all supposed to be the biggest thing on YouTube. Cause he was like, man, everybody, you know, all these dating coaches and shit. Let me not bust O'Shea out, man. Let me not bust him out. But O'Shea used to just give us props, you know what I mean, and let us know how great we was and how we was supposed to be the biggest thing on YouTube. You know what I mean? I was about to say too much to have, you know, to where some certain people will probably be mad at O'Shea because they might misinterpret what I was about to say, so I ain't gonna say it. But yeah, O'Shea, he used to always encourage Sinful and myself to go harder with this YouTube shit, and he seen a certain type of greatness early on. K-Town 440, you stupid. When is there going to be the Trick Sphere? Hey, the Trick Sphere is like one of the oldest spheres in the world. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Trick Sphere. I got a lot of love for the Trick Sphere. You know what I mean? Hey, the Trick Sphere, you know what I mean? Make sure a pimp eat good every day. You know what I mean? So shout out to the pimp of the Trick Sphere. You dig? You know, the Trick Sphere just ain't televised. You know, you probably got, you know, a few trick channels out there where tricks is talking about how to be better tricks and all that. I'm sure they exist, but you know, the Trick Sphere revolution ain't televised. You know, so but the tricking is alive and thriving, And shout out to the tricking. You dig? Much love to the tricking. On Instagram, the articulation 19 says them YouTube dating coaches be weird. You know, I've spoken on the whole dating coach thing on YouTube. You know, I done went into detail about it, breaking shit down when it comes to a lot of them. But when it comes to a lot of them dating coaches, man, you know, they're just they are opportunists. You know, a lot of them saw an opportunity in the vulnerability of a lot of guys, and they just took it and capitalized on it and ran with it. You know what I mean? But a lot of them dudes ain't no different than the guys that they take advantage of. You know, they just you know, might have a little more influence and charisma than the average guy, you know. Rich Reloaded says Freeze hasn't been on a date since 07. Probably before that, you know what I mean? You know? And I ain't never been on a date, the type of date that tricks do, you know what I mean? But, you know, again, shout out to the trick sphere. Yeah. Right, like Correct Vision say, the trick sphere is the track when they run across a real 304. Healthy habits dating coaches are hustling. Yeah, you know, and I ain't mad at them because, you know, a mark gonna be a mark. So if the dating coaches could, you know, break on marks and marks allow themselves to be broken on, then hey, it is what it is, you know. But from my observation, a lot of these quote unquote dating coaches, you know, they study. A lot of the advice that they got is based on study. It's not based on experience. It's not based on trial and error. They didn't go through it to get to it. You know, they read through it to get to it. They watched and listened to it to get through it. So it's a whole different thing from going through it to get to it. You know, that's why a lot of you resonate with an Andre Taylor, a Sinful to P, you know, as opposed to certain dating coaches, because one thing about the pimping is that we we go through trial and error like nobody's business. You know, like we stay getting rejected. You know, as fly as the pimping may appear to be to you, you know, like as charismatic and whimsical as the pimping may be to you, you know, the reality is a lot of why you're impressed with the pimping is because, you know, we deal with so much rejection on a regular basis. You know, I don't think anybody ever gets rejected as much as a pimp does, right? But, you know, just like how I say the pimping get greater with every 304 that blow, you know, we get greater with every rejection as well. You know what I mean? Because just look at it from a pimp's perspective. If a pimp go out today and shoot his shot at 20 different women, you know, at the mall, in traffic, you know, at the club, a bar or whatever, if he shoot his shot at 20 different women today and, you know, 18 of them deny him, he might get 2 of them's phone number or contact or something like that, but he get rejected 18 times, you know, he's gonna be doing homework at the end of the night. He gonna be, you know, analyzing, you know, what worked and what didn't work, you know, what was being said to these chicks, how they were being approached and how they responded to it. You know, pimping gonna do all that. That's why we just masters when it come to, you know, approaching women, you know, and things like that. And even becoming a master at doing that, you still gonna deal with rejection. But, you know, pimping don't, you know, we don't fear rejection because we know that don't do nothing but make us greater, you know. And a woman denying me doesn't make me any less of what I am and who I am, and it doesn't determine who I am, right? So as opposed to some of these dating coaches, they don't get turned down because they too scared to cold approach somebody. Y'all know how I feel about that nerd ass language. They gonna tell you not to cold approach people because they scared of rejection and all that old type of shit. And I seen somebody mention Dr. BOA and Sinful, they misunderstandings or disagreements or whatever the case may be. I know Sinful's from what I saw, Sinful just didn't like how Dr. BOA try to blend the pimping with his square ass shit, because one thing that's obvious when you listen to him, and I haven't even listened to a lot of Dr. BOA. It's been a few times where I've never finished an entire video of his. I remember one time I was in the car with my partner and he was listening to him in the car, and I I just tuned it out after a while. I couldn't listen to too much of him because he tried to blend certain things together that don't even go together, right? And he try to act like he know about the pimping when he ain't got a clue, right? But see, that's what a lot of people do on the internet, right? Because in their mind, there's nobody there to challenge what they say and do, right? So because they're not being challenged, they feel like they could say anything and do anything, right? But because the internet is so big and accessible to so many people, sooner or later, there's going to be somebody to come along and challenge the bullshit you saying if what you saying is some bullshit, right? So that's all Sinful was doing with Dr. BOA. He was challenging the bullshit that the boy was putting out there, because a lot of, like I said, I haven't listened to a whole lot of them, but the little bit that I have listened to, bullshit, right? He be trying to talk like the pimping and act like the pimping, but again, anybody who listened to him for 2 seconds could tell off the back, in the words of 4Extras, that he that boy ain't got an ounce of pimping with him, like not one bit. So yeah, and the Caint and the Pretender, same thing. He was trying to act like the pimping for a little while, but because again, in his mind, nobody's ever going to challenge what I'm saying and doing. I'm on the internet. Who's going to come along and challenge what I'm saying and doing? The pimping. You know what I mean? See, the pimping just don't like plagiarism on the ism, man. We don't like nobody trying to pretend. We know a lot of people admire our culture and our lifestyle. And, you got Pimp My Ride. And, back in the days, you used to be able to pimp your MySpace page out. And, everybody want to put a pimp's touch on this and a pimp's touch on that. And that's, we get it. It's cool. But don't try to act like you are the pimping, though. Like that's just a totally different, you can't do that, man. Lunchpad W say freeze. I think we squabbled in 02. 02. In 02, I didn't have any squabbles per se. But I did get jumped in Ohio. Me and my brother Smooth. Shout out to my brother Smooth. My hometown comrade from the east side of Long Beach. We got jumped and he got pistol whipped in the midst of us getting jumped back in 2002. But I didn't squabble anybody in 2002. You dig? I was busy hustling and, moving around, and yeah, I wasn't doing no squabbling back then. But everybody think, a lot of people look like me, man. Y'all think all light skinned dudes look alike and shit, man. So Trap Pound 29. You remember that video, huh? I should have died in Ohio. That's what I'm talking about. Always an LB dude getting packed out. You know what I mean? They always want to pack us out. You know what I mean? That's because, like, okay, so it's funny you mentioned LB dudes getting packed out, right? See, I look at different parts of LA County, like New York City got boroughs, right? I liken different parts of LA County to the boroughs in New York, right? And, you know, a lot of people from different parts of LA might, you know, want to deny this shit, might want to hate on us, man. But, you know, Long Beach, we like the Harlem of LA County. You know what I mean? Long Beach, we like the flashy ones, you know, having money, you know, having, you know, females, you know, Long Beach cats can be real flashy. You know, we just kind of like the Harlem of Los Angeles County. You know what I mean? Now, Compton, I would say Compton is probably like the Brooklyn of LA County. You know what I mean? You know, grimy, you know, crafty individuals, you know what I mean? That's Compton is kind of similar to Brooklyn. I would say Watts is like the Bronx of LA County. South Central. It's funny, Rich Reloaded, we said that at the same time. Watts is the Bronx. That's exactly what I said. Oh, Pearl grew up on Long Beach Boulevard, went to Jordan. Wait. We definitely upper class. Nah, but you know, see, that's the thing though, cause see, Harlem, you know, don't get Harlem twisted now. Like Harlem, they flashy, they be having their money, but you know, them dudes in Harlem is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like very dangerous. And Long Beach is the same way. You know, like you see a lot of, you know, good looking people, flashy, having it their way, you know, money and everything. But, you know, Long Beach got some dangerous people too. Very dangerous people. You know what I mean? So you can't let the appearance be the interference, right? So Inglewood is the Yonkers of LA. I ain't really spent no time in Yonkers, so I can't really say. Lancaster like Queens. Nah. Lancaster is like Lancaster would be the Rochester of LA County. You know what I mean? I probably put Lancaster more like Rochester, you know what I mean? Let's see. Now, South Central a little rougher than Queens. Well, it's certain parts of Queens is hella rough. Like, so it's funny you mentioned Queens, right? Like, see, when you from the ghetto, right, you can go to a brand new place that you ain't never been to, and it could look real smooth. It could look nice. It could look like ain't nothing going on, but you just sense the danger. You just sense that you ain't in the right area, you know what I mean? Even though it's like unsuspecting. That's how I felt when I was in Southside Jamaica, Queens. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Southside Jamaica, Queens is not very far from the airport. I can't remember which airport is close to there. Is it LaGuardia or JFK? I want to say it's JFK. But, yeah, I think JFK is close to Southside Jamaica, Queens. But yeah, man, I was in Southside Jamaica, Queens back in the day, man. I was real young. I'm like 20 years old at the time, man. Me and this little chick that I was messing with, we had flew to New York to go kick it and go shopping and all that type of shit, right? And somehow we ended up in Southside Jamaica, Queens. And it was in the afternoon. LaGuardia, okay. Oh, somebody say JFK, somebody say LaGuardia. I think it is JFK that this Southside Jamaica Queens is close to, but this the early 2000s. You know what I mean? And when we was there, we was trying to get a cab back to our hotel. We was staying at the Ramada. I think the Ramada that we stayed at was like by JFK. But we was trying to catch a cab. I don't even know how we ended up in Southside Jamaica Queens. I forget why we was over there, but we ended up over there. And it was the afternoon and people moving around. You know, it looked real normal. But I just felt it. I was like, man, we ain't supposed to be over here. We ain't supposed to be over here. We got to get up out of here, man. You know, we standing over here because we fresh off the plane. We got all our luggage with us and shit. I'm like, man, we got to get up out of here. This ain't the place to be. And then dudes was coming up offering us rides and shit like that. Like, hey, man, you need a ride? I'll give you a ride for $20. Woo. Nah, man. Nah, homie. We cool. Ain't none of you niggas finna give us a ride. We not going. You know what I mean? No. But, yeah, like, Southside Jamaica Queens, man, that's one of them places that, you know, it could look real unsuspecting. But if you from the hood, though, you just know, like, I got to get out of here. I'm not supposed to be here. If I stay here, something going to happen. You know what I mean? That's one of them places, man. But shout out to Southside Jamaica Queens, man. Shout out to Queens, period. Shout out to New York City, man. You know, the only borough I didn't really spend no time in was Staten Island. But I want to go to Staten Island. Like, next time I go to New York, I'm going to make it a point to go to Staten Island because I ain't never been. And I really want to go just see what Staten Island is about. You dig? But I love New York City, though, man. A lot of people that ain't from New York don't like it, but I love New York City, though. I ain't been in a long time, and I know shit is very different from last time I was there, but New York City, I fucks with it, you dig? Oakland is East New York. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with Oakland being East New York, for sure. Sharif, what's up with you, man? Brooklyn, check in. Indeed. Jody Norrie said Oakland is East New York. Yeah, very similar. Oakland too treacherous for New York. That's now. See what people got to understand. New York kind of went through a similar thing like LA. You know, like nowadays, New York ain't nearly as dangerous as it used to be. Just like LA ain't nearly as dangerous as it used to be. You know, LA, man, shit, man. And see, I never seen New York in the 80s and 90s, but I could just about imagine how dangerous it was, though, like, and grimy and all of that, you know. But even in the early 2000s, New York was dangerous. Like, shit. New York was like Brooklyn, man. Shit, you better not be walking around no damn Brooklyn at night. Shit, they gonna book your ass. The Bronx, all that shit, grimy as hell, man, and very dangerous. But you know, those cities went through a lot of changes to where now it's not nearly as dangerous. And that's a good thing. You know, I like the fact that New York ain't nearly as dangerous as it used to be. I like the fact that LA ain't nearly as dangerous as it used to be. Even though in both places you still, you know, people still getting their issue, but it just ain't nowhere nearly, you know, like, man, it was crazy back. And I, you know, being from LA County, you know, I could speak for Los Angeles County, man. Like back in the 80s and 90s, man, that shit was dangerous, ain't the word. You know, 1992, Los Angeles County had over 2,500 murders, unalivings. You dig? Let me get my politically correct YouTube language together. Yeah, in 1992 alone, in Los Angeles County, there was over 2,500 unalivings. Do you know how many people, that's crazy. That's like a small town, a whole small town getting wiped out. 2,500 people unalived in just LA County. We ain't talking about San Bernardino County, Riverside County, San Diego County, Orange County. No, in just LA County alone in 1992, it was 2,500 unalivings. That's crazy. Imagine if you put that number with San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange County, San Diego. Like, imagine, 92 was a crazy time. And ironically, that's the time that they had the quote-unquote peace treaty. The year that they had the peace treaty between the Bloods and Crips was the deadliest year, right? And it's not by accident either. You already know the police was stirring shit up. Police, boy, LA County, I mean, yeah, just LA, the LA County sheriffs, you know, they had the Compton Police Department still going on back then, LAPD, you know, and all the different Long Beach PD, all the different police departments that they had back then, man. You already know they was stirring a whole lot of shit up. They did not want to see peace between the Crips and the Bloods. They was not going for that. They was going to kick some shit up. You know, they dressing up like this gang, putting this gang colors on and going to bust on this gang and screaming out they from this gang the whole time. They from the LAPD gang. They from the LA Sheriff's Department gang. But, you know, they used to really do shit like that. A lot of people don't know that, but that type of shit really was going on back in the day, man. So, yeah. But, again, like I say, man, you know, I like the fact that Los Angeles County ain't as dangerous as it used to be. And hopefully, you know, Richmond and Oakland can do the same thing, man. Hopefully Richmond and Oakland become a lot safer, you know, than it is right now. Because I know Richmond and Oakland right now is crazy. It's off the chain. That shit like Gotham City up there. But I hope that you know, certain changes come about to where, you know, it's not as dangerous, man, because, you know, it's just crazy. K-Town 440 say LAPD, CPD, NYPD, they declared war on black men. For sure they did. Khalid Muhammad was based in LA. The climate was lit. Yeah, shout out to brother Khalid Muhammad. Rest in peace. Brilliant, powerful individual, man. Inspirational individual. But yeah, he was based in LA back then. The jungle's never peace treaty. Yeah, I know. Correct vision. Like when the peace treaty was going on, it started. But see, you know, if this is my theory, right? Like I think that if the LAPD would have never interfered in the sheriff's department and all the different police departments in LA County, I believe if they never interfered, it would have got to that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they started with certain communities, like in Watts. You know, there's a lot of peace treaties going on in Watts, and I think Compton too. You know, different parts of the East Side and South Central was peace treatying. If I'm not mistaken, I think the 60s had made a peace treaty with somebody. I don't want to say the wrong, you know, people that they was peace treatying with, but I think the 60s was participating in the peace treaty too, if I'm not mistaken. I think I seen recently some old pictures with the 60s and damn, I can't remember what the other gang was, but the 60s was peace treaty. But yeah, I think if the LAPD and all the other police departments in LA County didn't interfere, I think it would have eventually got around to, you know, other different gangs. You know what I mean? That's just like right now they trying to interfere, you know, with shit. You know, the moment that the East Coasters and the Florencias, you know, accomplish peace between one another. One of the main instrumental people who was a part of that, Lil Doc Thone, Free Lil Doc Thone from 6ix9ine East Coast, they lock him up. And he was one of the main people that made that happen, right? So, it just gives you an idea of how they really don't want to see peace, They really don't. But, shout out to like people like Skip Townsend, man, and his Second Call movement, man. It's a lot of people pushing for peace in LA, and they making progress, man. They making it happen. I know over there in the Inglewood area, they been, pushing for peace over there too, man. So, I just want everybody to get along, man. Everybody ain't got to be best friends and start hanging out, kicking it together, and eating dinner at each other's houses and shit like that. But as long as everybody could just be peaceful, man, and you ain't got to worry about, walking by yourself in a certain area, or, if you got a girlfriend that live in a certain neighborhood, you got to be careful going over there. I just hope all of that type of stuff is over with. Yeah, correct vision. It is more money and chaos, but at the end of the day, they can't make us be violent if we don't want to be violent. They can't force us to be violent, right? They can manipulate things and trick us into being violent like they have in times past. They definitely done accomplished that. They definitely done manipulated, different communities into beefing with each other, for sure. But, having gone through that already, we should be smart enough to not fall for that again and, keep pushing. So. Unique says they don't want peace. Oh, wait, where'd that go? They don't want peace because they don't get to arrest nobody. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately it's a capitalist society, so that factors into the capitalism. The mass incarceration business is big business. Leo77 says, hey, Freeze, starting out, would you recommend turning out a square chick if you don't have mentors or known blades? I would advise, I would recommend church, man. I recommend God, man. I recommend, wholesome relationships, man. That's what I recommend. Gentrification taking its toll on Oaktown now, sadly. Rent going up. Yeah, that's what they do, man. It's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of, historically black neighborhoods that ain't even black no more. It's a lot of that going on. Sharif says these YGs have no structure. Most of the peacekeepers and OGs have passed on. Even Farrakhan in his 90s now, he can't host more gang summits. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but you always got people pushing for it, though. You got people like Brother RZA, RZA Islam and, Nuri Muhammad and, all them different people. Pushing for it. So it's a whole bunch of other individuals too. I remember back in the days always hearing Tony Muhammad's name in LA, man. He was a very influential individual when it comes to peace in LA. So yeah, everybody ain't passed away. You still got some older, influential people that they listen to. Pearl says that's everywhere, especially Inglewood, Black Warrior Crypto Arena. Plus some. Yeah, you right about Inglewood, man. Shit. Inglewood and Carson, man, them is like two of the most heavily gentrified areas in LA County, man. Certain parts of South Central too, like anywhere near USC and all that shit, man. Yeah, it's going on. Shit, Long Beach too, man. There's certain parts of Long Beach that I go back and look at and I be like, damn, this shit don't even look like the same neighborhood no more. You know, shit look totally different. But All Man says, wait, Freeze, when does trying to get a woman to become bugging a woman? Wait, Freeze, when does trying to get a woman become bugging a woman? When she's not showing interest. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, acknowledgement is encouragement, man. And if she's not giving you any acknowledgement, but you still trying to get her, I don't know. Me, I don't bug. You know. I'm an asshole though, man. I'm a little crazy. In a good way though. I'm not like dangerously crazy. I'm just crazy, like I can be extremely vain at times and extremely stubborn at times, right? So my vanity and my stubbornness doesn't allow me to bug anybody. So I don't know what it's like to bug somebody, but maybe because also I understand that there are so many people in the world who won't consider me a bug or a pest if I'm getting at them, right? So it's just too many people to bug and sweat one, right? To that degree, you know. Oh man, you're welcome, man. No problem. And then what I'll also say is that, like, a lot of times if you find yourself bugging somebody or you feel like you're bugging somebody, I would think that it's because you're magnifying that somebody to a point where you forget, you losing sight of yourself, right? You've made this woman so big in your mind that you forgot who you are and haven't even taken time to, acknowledge yourself, learn yourself, invest in yourself, build yourself, grow yourself, evolve yourself, elevate yourself. If you're doing all of that with yourself, then, you're going to be getting bugged more than you doing some bugging, right? But yeah, maybe that's why I like I said, I've never been a bug or even considered doing nothing like that, sweating somebody to that degree, because, I know that with everything I've invested into myself, somebody is going to recognize it and appreciate it. And if they don't recognize it, let alone appreciate it, then it's they loss. And it's no hard feelings. I ain't mad at her. I ain't going to, get aggressive with her and, be crazy towards her because she denied me or rejected me or anything like that. Like I said, pimping, we deal with rejection all the time, but it's not a type of rejection where we just keep getting rejected by the same individual. Nah, you know what I mean? You got one time to reject me and then, hey, it is what it is. No hard feelings. I ain't tripping. On to the next, right? But again, because I've invested so much into myself and I pay so much attention to myself and I understand myself the way that I do, it's like, I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, man, I ain't going for it. I ain't going for it, man. I could never be somebody's pest or bug or nothing like that. You dig? Right, Sylvia. Most men can't handle being rejected. And that's what makes the pimping so exceptional because we don't get bent out of shape by being rejected. It's all good. It's like being a salesperson. If you short chain says who rejects freeze, you'll be surprised, man. I'm not everybody's flavor. I'm not vain to the point where I, believe that nonsense. I know I'm not for everybody, right? You got some people that I'm just not their flavor. Like some people just ain't into people like me. Whether it be my appearance, they might not be physically attracted to me, or my personality, they might not be attracted to that. And then you have people that are attracted to me physically and are attracted to my personality, but I'm too high maintenance, right? I require too much from a woman. So you have those too that, they don't want to, some chicks are just too lazy to be with somebody like me, right? And one thing that I'm not into anymore, and I have been in times past, is I'm not accepting nobody that's going to slow me down because I'm moving fast and I'm making moves and I'm making shit happen and I'm moving fast. And if you can't jump on board and move as fast as me, if I'm doing, 100 miles per hour, but you jumping on board means I got to slow down to 65 miles per hour so that you could keep up with me and we still not getting where we want to get. Nah, I'm not doing all of that. You're going to have to jump in and go 100 miles per hour with me, or we ain't gonna go nowhere together. You dig? So it'd be a lot of that type of stuff too, right? It's not like, and see, this is what you got to understand too. Just because a woman rejects you, it doesn't mean that she's rejecting you because you're not good enough, or she thinks she's too good for you or better than you or anything. Like I don't look at it like that. Everybody ain't for everybody, so. Hold up. Julius Mack, good looking with the $10 holla. Blessings to the game, 100 RIP Sin. What do you think about 304s being disrespectful on the blade, and how does that reflect on your ism? On your ism if you don't react. See, so this is the thing. This is me, right? I can only speak from my perspective when it comes to that. And it could be helpful to a lot of P's, right? But if you think about the chicks that tend to be disrespectful, right, you got to pay attention. It's like doing research, right? It's like doing a survey, and if you pay attention, most of the chicks who are disrespectful on the blade have certain things in common, right? And this is why, in the words of Sinful to P, it's always good to observe, stay preserved until you see who deserves your time. And if you think before you pop it and give somebody the opportunity to disrespect you, you will understand that most of the people who disrespect you didn't deserve your time in the first place. So it's a mistake on your part even saying something to them, knowing that if you would have paid attention and observed first and stayed preserved, you would have realized these individuals didn't deserve your time, right? So that's what I do. When I ride, if I'm riding the blade, right, a lot of times I'm going to have my windows up. I'm going to have my sunroof open so that I can hear conversations, right? And, Sometimes you'll see a chick that look good, and as soon as you see her, you're like, damn, she bad. I got to pop it at her. And you might say something to her, right? And she end up disrespecting you. But then from there, you might not say nothing else to her, and you ride around and you see her getting into it with different females out there. You see her getting into it with tricks. You see her putting it on the dead homies. You see her, smoking and drinking and, taking her shoes off, walking barefooted when her feet hurt, or wearing flip-flops with dirty feet at the bottom. You start seeing all of this stuff, right? She ashy, don't even moisturize her skin. Hair a mess. She looked like she just woke up, slapped her wig on, and rolled out the bed and came to the track. She don't even look like she took a bath. If you just pay attention, you'll realize that most of these people don't deserve your time, right? And you'll be disappointed in yourself for even saying, like, damn, why did I even, now that I'm observing, now that I see, what type of chick this is, like, man, I got to apologize to myself for even, saying something to this chick. And I've had to apologize to my own pimping, several times for doing the same thing, right? So, yeah, man, that's how I deal with that, basically, and there's been a lot of nights, man, I done went weeks riding the blade and not saying nothing to nobody, because I don't see anybody who deserves my time, right? And even if I do see somebody who I think might deserve my time, I'm going to just make a mental note and just keep paying attention to that individual to see if they do something to let me know, maybe they don't deserve my time. And then if they keep doing what I believe makes them worthwhile to talk to, then I'll, shoot my shot, right? Because this is what you got to keep in mind too, right? A lot of these chicks out there, they might claim to be 304s and they might claim to have pimping in their life, but if you just pay attention to them, you will quickly find out that it's not pimping and 304ing, right? Listen, man, if you riding, like I said, and you hear a chick putting it on the dead homies, or she out there trying to fight or is actually fighting, she don't deserve your time. If, like I said, you got your sunroof open or you got your windows cracked and you can hear, you just got your music down or off so that you can hear conversations. That's what I do. I just ride around and listen, right? And if you hear a chick talking about her folks, but she's my nigga this and my nigga that, then she don't deserve your time. Any chick who is referring to their supposed to be P as their nigga, that's not a 304. 304s don't even talk like that. You know what I mean? But the majority of these chicks out there talk like that. So that alone will let you know that, man, this, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. Let me start thinking and realize that this ain't nobody to talk to and keep pushing, right? And this is going to be the majority. If they doing a whole bunch of socializing and they always in groups and they in each other's faces more than they in a 304's place, which is in the tricks face. If they doing all that, they don't deserve your time. See, this is what you got to do, right? You got to think about even though this chick is beautiful, she might be fine as hell. She might be gorgeous, right? But if you pay attention to the movement, you will think to yourself, okay, what is it going to be like to actually have this chick, right? Now, if she's the type that's out there and she just stands around looking at her phone, you have to realize that if you end up knocking her, you're going to have to get that out of her system, which is going to be a wrestling match that most of the time ain't even worth a pimp's time. So, then you're going to have to babysit her and ride through every once in a while like, bitch, why you always in your phone? And, Trix is trying to date you and you don't even see him because you in your phone. Like, you don't want to have to go through that. You want somebody that's seriously at the money, right? So like I said, if you just pay attention to certain movements, you'll see what you're going to be dealing with and, that it's not worth your time. You know, she out there with a boombox on the corner and she twerking, or she letting tricks grab her booty and grab her crotch and grab her titties and all of that. When they pull up, they reaching out the window, touching on her, and she just letting them do it with a smile on her face. You gonna have to undo all of that. Like, who wants to go through that? You know what I mean? Some of these chicks are just pretty for no reason, beautiful for no damn reason. And they only beautiful on the outside, but inside they ugly as hell. So, it just be so much that if you pay attention, you'll realize it's not worth your time, right? And, me, I consider myself to be a rarity, right? I know that I'm rare. I know that there's not very many people out there active in the game comparable to me, right? So on that same token, I have to consider that much more for the chicks that's out there, right? You know what I mean? What I'm looking for is not going to be in everybody, right? I'm looking for a specific thing. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So I'm not going to be shooting my shot at everybody. Like I said, I done rode the same track for weeks at a time and not saying nothing to nobody. You know what I mean? I walk into a store like this, you know what I mean? Because just about every blade has that one store or that one gas station where, the 304s congregate and they be in there deep, buying chips and sodas and candy and all that type of stuff, or just in there hanging out or charging their phone, doing whatever they do in there, and they be in there deep. I walk in there like this and won't say nothing to nobody. You know what I mean? Everybody don't deserve my time. So and I know it. I know it when I see somebody who deserves my time. Then I'll shoot my shot. Right? Now, every once in a while, I'll take a gamble, roll the dice, and shoot my shot at somebody without taking a whole lot of inventory. But at the very least, she can't be out there. I'm not talking to nobody that's doing a whole bunch of socializing. I'm not talking to nobody with sandals and dirty feet. It's just certain things. It's just like a deal breaker. Like, if I see it, like, no, I'm not saying nothing to you. But if I see somebody that is to themselves and she looked like she took time, like me, again, like I said, I know I'm rare, right? Everybody ain't taking 2-3 hours to get ready every day like Freeze, right? So if I see a chick out there like that who looks like she took her time to get ready, she don't look like she just rolled out the bed and came to the track like a lot of them be looking. If I see that, then it's like, okay, and then on top of that, I see her at the money. She ain't just standing around. She ain't out there doing the mannequin challenge. She ain't out there competing with the stop sign to see who can stand on the corner the best. She actually at the money. Okay, I could shoot my shot at that. You dig? But the bottom line, man, you just got to pay attention. Carlos Enriquez, good looking with the $2 holla. Do you study any psychiatry? No, I don't study psychiatry, but I do have an interest in psychology. I just like to understand how the mind works, why people think the way that they do, so on and so forth. I'm not no psychology expert. I never went to school for psychology. I just have a fascination with it, right? So, and that can be very helpful in dealing with people. So, no, I never studied psychiatry though. Good question though. Good looking. Black Warrior Spirit, good looking with the $5 holla. Salute, peace and blessings. Big Freeze is it. Thanks for dropping game. I'm on the road, ear hustling to the pimping. I hit that gym earlier. Dig that, man. I love hearing when people went to the gym, man. That's that good energy, man. It's very necessary and very appreciated. RS, good looking with the $20 holla. What game would you have for a college student majoring in accounting, want to apply the game to building my own firm? Building my own firm fresh out of college. You are one of the P's who played a role in me mashing to check a few million. Dig that, man. I appreciate that, man. You know, that type of stuff, you know, that lets me know that I'm halfway doing the right thing at least, you know, but I appreciate that. But you're majoring in accounting. You want to apply the game to building your own firm fresh out of college. You know, I don't know what your current situation is. Hold on, let me hydrate my game one time. Pimping, popping this shit. And if you ain't wiped your feet off at the door, please do a pimp a favor and do so now. Hit that like button. But in the words of my brother Sinful the P.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
That we never left. RS, you know, I'm curious to know, you know, what your current situation is, you know what I mean? Because in order to understand where you're going, you got to know where you are. And I don't know where you are currently as far as, you know, if you've taken certain steps to start that endeavor and how far you've gotten. You know, I'm curious about that. David Fugel says, Freeze, she was cute, but her breath was stinking. You know, that's correctable. But it depends. I'm curious, you know, why was her breath stinking? You know what I mean? Was her breath stinking because of bad dental hygiene, or was it because, you know, she be smoking weed or cigarettes or, you know, whatever it is? But I don't know. Okay. Man, I was wondering when somebody was going to join. What's happening?
Freeze. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up with you, man?
Oh, man, enjoying life, man. Blessed.
Yo, I wrote that comment to you about
Right.
advice for the student. Yeah, man. I've been watching for a couple of years now, man, and you definitely been one of the guys, man, who you know, inspired my path and my journey that I'm on, man, and you know, definitely want to apply the game, man, and start my own CPA firm, man, and go up from there.
Right. That's
So
what's
I
up.
just want to come on here because I just want to come on here because I just want to come on here because I know you said you know, to give me the best advice, you need a little bit more context.
Right. So what's going on? Have you Have you taken any steps towards starting your CPA firm?
No, not yet, man. So I'm in uni, I'm in university, and
Oh, you still currently
they
in school?
yeah. So I got about a year left. Uh, so they got opportunities they present to the students to go work in Big Four and some of the major companies or whatnot. And a lot of that stuff is cool, man. It's fine, but when you play that game, man, you gotta play the way they want you to play. And I'm a bit old. I'm in my early 30s, man, and I done a lot of things, and did a lot of different type of businesses and things like that, man. And man, I'm just in a place where I feel like, I don't want to get the degree to necessarily work for somebody, man. I'd rather, build my own, and weather the storm that way.
Right. Yeah, well, I like the idea of you starting your own firm. Uh, Me personally, like I said, I don't know how far you've gotten as far as like your research and drafting a plan and developing a plan and all of that, and let alone executing it. But me, some things that I would consider is one, understanding the market where you are, or whether I don't know how flexible you are, if you're willing to move to a place that has a better market and better opportunities for you. But I would definitely take time to understand the market where I am, you know what I mean, so that from there I can figure out how to figure out what the demand is and supply that demand, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, like I
yeah,
said, I don't know how far you've gotten when it comes to that, but
yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I mean,
because
like,
as far as being a starting a CPA firm, I would imagine, I've never done that, so I don't want people to think that, just because I sound a certain way, like I know everything about that. I don't. But just I would like I said, I would want to understand the demand for that where I am. Who's currently in business in that field where I am, how long they've been in business, try to understand the ups and downs of people who've been there doing it before me, and then try to understand, what the climate is and what might be in store in the future, understanding what the economy is. A lot of people talking about we might be going into a recession soon. Understanding that and how that might play a role in my business plans. Where I am and versus other places, and what opportunities might be there for me. I don't know if you got
yeah.
kids. Do you have any kids?
Nah, I ain't got no kids, man. It's just me and my wife.
Okay, so that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So um
And man, and again, man, like I inspire her every day, man, to get after it, man. You know what I mean? And she doing real well with what she doing, just all off, providing inspiration every day. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just me listening to, you and a couple of the guys, and just really, taking in, pretty much what y'all saying, but just I ain't necessarily trying to step out there and be no P or nothing like that, but
of course.
it's universal, man. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, if the way y'all inspire people in y'all world, man, that's universal, man. They can be applied in different other places. So that's kind of what I try to do. And just me reaching out to you tonight is just, again, just trying to just see what you think. You know what I mean? You somebody who, I respect your perspective. Not too many, but you definitely one of the guys I respect your perspective though.
For sure, man. I definitely appreciate that, man. But yeah, like I said, that's what I would do. Like, try to understand as much as I could about the market, and then, from there figure out how I can get in where I fit in. You dig?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's another thing I've been up doing too. Just politicking, networking with people, just trying to see, especially people who got firms, and just picking their brain. And man, a
Right.
lot of times man, a lot of times, when you talking to certain groups of people, they could try to tell you to play the traditional route,
Yeah.
but that ain't.
Yeah, see,
You
what you
they
got to understand about today's times, not to cut you off, but the sky is the limit, man. And
yeah
when with a lot of things, the quote unquote traditional route, the world ain't really very traditional anymore. You know what I mean? The
yeah
world is changing at a rate faster than it ever has. So, keeping that in mind, uh, shit, going
yeah
the traditional route might play into your detriment. So,
yeah
you know what I mean? So,
yeah
yeah, you got to
yeah
keep that in mind too. You just got to have an open
yeah
mind and be optimistic and flexible as far as ideas go. You know, because you might
yeah
revolutionize something. You might start a new trend when it comes to that. And if you just look at history, a lot of people who started certain trends in business and what have you were always told to go the traditional route, and you can't do this and you can't do that. They always told what they can't do. You know
yeah
what I mean? And now everybody is doing what they were told that they
yeah
can't do because they did it first. So,
yeah. You right, man. You sure ain't lying about that, man. They sure try to tell you, man, what you can do, what you can't do, and all of that, man. And
right.
I just
And
like
see, it's good that you tuning in to somebody like myself, right? Because uh, I don't have all the answers, but one thing that you can learn from somebody like myself is that I think outside the box, and
for
in
sure.
square society, people thrive on systems, and systems that are like rigid and not
Yeah,
flexible. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And this is the
yeah,
way you have to do it, and God forbid them thinking about trying to do it a different way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And a lot of those people, they can't imagine being flexible outside of the system because, that system helps them function. A lot of people
yeah,
need a system already set in place with a certain type of structure in order for them to thrive. A lot of people can't step outside of that system and try something new and be able to thrive, or fall down, go through trial and error, pick themselves up and keep going. A lot of people gonna sink and not swim,
yeah,
stepping outside the box, right? So
yeah,
that's, like I said, that's one thing about people like myself who come from the game, understand, you could do whatever you put your mind to. And, I don't thrive inside no box. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I thrive
yeah,
on, being outside the box and being flexible mentally, you know what I mean, as far as ideas and plans and all that type of stuff goes. So, yeah.
yeah. And I appreciate that, man. And just one more thing I want to say, just adding on to what you just said, man, is that's what I like. That's what I meant by when I'm like, man, you could tell that it they didn't it, this they that particular system that they have, it ain't got somebody like me in mind.
Right. You don't fit. Yeah, like they don't have they don't consider how somebody like you could fit into it, or flourish in a system like that.
For sure, for sure. And it's like for me, I'm thinking in my head like, well, I ain't got no issues creating my own system, my own infrastructure because,
Right.
originally I'm from Memphis. So, growing up in the M, you see people who, they getting it, in the streets doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
And you see the system as like telling them that, well, your knowledge in the street ain't transferable to corporate. And I'm like, no, it's a direct parallel. It's the same game being
Right.
played.
Yeah. So
And
they
so
can't relate to you because you understand a side of life that they don't. and they not thinking about the Jay-Z's of the world, somebody who came from the streets and is now legally a billionaire.
For sure. Yeah.
applying street
Yeah.
principles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. Man, that's why I tune in to you, man, and I appreciate you, being on there, man, taking the call, man, and
Oh, for sure.
like I say, man, due to your content, man, and it definitely played a part, man, in me on my journey, man. So I appreciate what you do.
Man, I'm humbled and appreciative of that. That's like the highest compliment that you could give, man. I appreciate you.
Man, no problem, man. I'm gonna hop back in there, man, let you get back to it, man.
Okay, for sure. Blessings.
Blessings to you, Pete. Appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. That was good convo right there. But I like how he said, I like how he realizes that, like he said, the system wasn't designed for people like him in mind. Same thing with Jay-Z. Like if Jay-Z would have abided by the system, he wouldn't be nearly where he is right now. I mean, same thing with Andre Taylor. This man has put something into effect that resulted in something that was not possible not very long ago. In recent history, it was not possible for law enforcement officers to be prosecuted in the state of Washington. And Andre Taylor, somebody who comes from the streets, applied the game that comes from that lifestyle in that world and conquered it and thrived, still thriving, right? So it's just a certain type of genius, man, that a lot of those people can't comprehend. But that doesn't mean it's not applicable, though. It definitely is. You dig? Dalton Pierce, yeah, the line is open, man. All you got to do is hit that link in the pinned comment. If you want to join the chat, the comment is pinned. All you got to do is hit that link, follow the little couple of steps, and you'll be here. And, you can ask whatever question you want to ask. We can chop it up about whatever you want to chop it up about. It is all good. Don't be scared. Tap in with a pen. Oh, this is Hollywood. Which Hollywood, man? I know several different Hollywoods. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Is this? I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of think I know, but I don't know, man. It's a few different Hollywoods that I know. And I done met about 20 different Hollywoods in the game. So, I mean, okay, I think I know what Hollywood this is. What's up, man? You could join if you want, P. Shit, it's all good. We went to eat Thai food in Vegas. Yeah, I kind of figured that this was that Hollywood, but a lot of people call themselves Hollywood, man. This the Hollywood. You dig? You took me to the Thai the Thai spot. Yeah. Yeah, Thai food, that's my thing. I love Thai food. Anybody ever, around Freeze and you want to treat me to anything, and you can't think of what to treat me to, I'm letting you know now that I'm not turning down no Thai food. You dig? I'm with the Thai food action. You dig? What's going on?
What's going on, Freeze? How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm beautiful, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right.
Dig that.
So I'm a teacher
Okay.
and I'm 41, and there's about a late 50s guidance counselor at my school.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she feeling me. I kind of peep, when she pop in my room. I see when she looking at me or whatever. And she's like a businesswoman. She owned like a bunch of businesses and all that. So she invited me to one of her spots, and it's like a chill spot. Bunch of people there, most of the folks she know already.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a sort of game night. You pick a card, ask a question, everybody kind of share their perspective on it. But I was observing the type of brothers that were there, and
Okay.
most of them were like, you know, her age, but they're like single or whatever. And I'm kind of observing the energy, and I'm like, she may have friend zoned a whole bunch of these brothers for years or whatever, right? So the next day, I talked to her and I kind of asked her some questions. Well, how
Right.
long have you known such and such? How long have you known such and such? She's like, oh, I've known him for 20 years. I've known him for 30 years. And I'm thinking like, these brothers they've been sharing their light with her, you know what I'm saying? And she's been kind of using it. She's single, you know what I'm saying? She divorced or whatever, but she been kind of using their light to kind of build her stuff up. So, and they kind of sycophant, it seemed like they submit to her
Right.
in that environment, you know what I mean? So I told her, I was like, yeah, I probably won't go back. That's not my vibe. That's not, who I am.
Right.
And like the expression that came on her face was like, okay, all right, that's cool, but I guess my overall objective, I'm like, shit, I'm trying to get some money up out of her, man. I mean, like I said, she got all these businesses and shit, and you know, so I guess what I'm asking is if you got any advice, any strategy, because I haven't really done anything like that before. So
Right. Um, what do you know about her marriage history? Like, was she married for a long time, or has she been married multiple times? Or
okay, she was married for 13 years. She's been divorced for a while now. I think over a decade
okay,
or longer. Um, she's got two kids, two daughters. One, they're both in their 30s. Yep,
okay.
that's that's as much as I know. I think she
Were the
kind of she
daughters
kind
before the
of
marriage or during the
say
marriage?
again
Were the daughters before or during the marriage?
during during.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so she been divorced longer than 10 years.
yeah.
If she
Valid
was
point.
married for
Yep.
13 years and she got daughters in her 30s, she been
Hmm.
probably divorced a good 20 years.
Yeah, and you know what? Something she said. She said that she's a boss in public. She's a boss at work. This and that. But she said she wants to be submissive in private. You know. So
Right,
I don't know that to be true. But
right.
that's what she says. So
Yeah. How long you been knowing her?
not long. I'm new at this school. So
Oh, okay.
yep.
Yeah. You know, me myself, I would, before I try to get anything out of her, I would just take time to get to know her a little better. And, because when you want something from somebody, whatever it may be, it's just best to understand that person as much as possible, because the better, the strongest human urge is to be understood. That's one thing we all have in common. You know, every person breathing on this planet, one thing we all have in common is the urge to be understood, right? And the better, with that being said, the better you understand somebody, the more cooperation you can get from that somebody. So with that being said, you know, I would just take the time to understand her as well as I can, because see, this is something that a lot of cats make, a mistake that a lot of people make too. You know, they see the pros as far as, you know, the benefits and advantages they could have in, you know, doing something with somebody, but they don't think about how it can go wrong, right? And a lot of times it can go wrong by not taking the time to understand that individual. Like, without you understanding her or knowing her very well right now, because you haven't known her very long, you know, you might be able to have your way and get her to break you off or invest in something, or, you know, whatever end you want to meet with her, you might be able to get her to do that. But without fully understanding her, you know, you might not understand how things can go wrong, right? And, you know, shit could start off so good and be so beautiful that you can't even imagine it going wrong. But this is a woman that you're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, women are heavily driven by how they feel, right? And how they feel is subject to change at any given moment. So, you know, she could be beautiful, you know, she could be, you know, you could be having your way with her, but the slightest thing, you know, could trigger something and it could all go bad. You know what I mean? And you'll be on some thin line between love and hate type shit. You know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? If you remember that movie, you know what I mean? When he first started dealing with her, everything was smooth. You know what I mean? And she was beautiful. She fine. She older, but she fine as hell. You know what I mean? She got her shit together. And he thinking like, damn, you know what I mean? I done came up. And then next thing you know, she done made his life a living hell. So you got to keep stuff like that in mind. But like I said, man, me, myself, I would just take time to understand her as best I can. And, you know, once you take the time to understand her and, you know, you believe the same thing you believe now still, after even knowing more information and understanding her better, you like, okay, I could still probably get her to, you know, do this and do that for me. You know, also, you got to understand that there's no such thing as something for nothing. So you have to make it make sense to her as well. You know what I mean? That's why, like me, myself, I would probably be thinking about something that could benefit the both of us, and, you know, something that she could invest in with me. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know what kind of ideas you might have, or, you know, things that you might be interested in making happen. But I would probably start off with that, and then, you know, depending on how well that goes, parlay that into, like, ultimately I would be, of course, wanting to have something that I have control over and I'm able to thrive with, fully in control of, right? But like I said, you know, you also want to make it make sense for her, you know, so that she's not just doing it, but she's excited about doing it. You know, she's passionate about doing it, again, because this is a female, and they you know, they move based on how they feel. So if you make her feel good about doing whatever it is that you want her to do, then it'll go along better. You know, it'll make sense for her and it'll make sense for you. You dig? So those are some things that I would be thinking about.
Got you. I do have actual plans in terms of business with her. I haven't brought it up to her, but I know that her daughter is an actress. And I've written several scripts. I've done some short films too. So that's something that I can, you know, broach her about.
Right.
There's some other things that I, you know, want to do as well. But those aren't developed yet. So.
Right.
But yeah, the film thing, definitely, that's something that I want to do on that end soon too.
Yeah, that'll be dope. That'll be dope.
Yep.
You know, and then like I said, you know, that's something that, you know, could benefit the both of y'all. And then depending on how well that goes, you know, you can evolve it into something that, you know, like I said, you have control of and you can thrive on, you know.
Okay.
And at that point it won't matter if things don't go right with the both of you. You know, in the end you got what your objective
Got
was,
what I wanted. Yeah.
and you still made it make sense for her. So that way she can't be like, oh, I did this for you and you didn't do this, and you like, nah, we went in together and we both profited, we both benefited. You know what I mean? I just took my profits and did this with it. You know, you can't be mad at me because I made it make sense for you. You benefited from it. So
Yep.
you know.
And here's a finished product.
Right.
Right in front of you. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So understand her. Take time to understand her,
Mm-hmm.
and give her something that she would be excited about.
Right. Exactly.
Something. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
I appreciate
Which
that.
that's it sounds like you already on the right track because you're thinking about something that not only she could benefit from, but her daughter can benefit from as well. You know, which is even better. So.
Because she talk about her daughters a lot. So.
Yeah. That's cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yep. Peace.
All right. Yep.
I appreciate that.
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing, Freeze?
I'm fantastic, man. I think your background kind of loud a little bit. You can hear the feedback.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
All right, bet. First of all, I just want to say, R.I.P. to Godfather, R.I.P. Sin.
Indeed.
Um, yes, sir. So, I just had a couple questions. Man, I'm 25. Man, I'm a college graduate, but man, I got bad discipline, bro. I feel like I can't put the weed down, or I'll stop and then I'll go back into it. I don't have the control. So my
Okay.
question is, like, how do you develop, I guess, discipline? How do you keep yourself disciplined? I guess not to fall back into old habits.
Well, you know, a big part of it has to do with, you know, keeping your value in mind. And, you know, I don't know if you see the weed as something that takes away from your value. I don't know. You might not see it as like a big problem, you know, and it's probably a certain type of comfort with that, you know, for a lot of different reasons. You know, it might provide a type of social comfort, you know, depending on who you been around or who you smoke with. You might got homies that you smoke with and y'all chill and laugh and all that, or you might have a chick that you smoke with and you kick it with her and y'all have a good time. You know, weed can be associated with a lot of different comforts, right? But like I said, if it's something that you think might be getting in the way of you being better and you want to put it down, I always say that in order to say no to something, you have to have a bigger something to say yes to, right? It's usually not good enough to just say no to this, but you're not at the same time saying yes to something bigger, right? So for me, what it usually is, you know, the things that I've put down, you know, and quit, I've always had something bigger to say yes to. It's not simply me just saying no to this or no to that. I got something bigger that I'm saying yes to. You know, like, of course, you know, I like to work out. So I've pretty much become a master at, you know, putting down any kind of food that I want to put down. And it's food that I was raised on that I love. You know what I mean? But haven't had in years because, you know, I'm able to say no to that by saying yes to health and fitness in a certain type of way, right? I can always figure out how me saying no to this is going to benefit me in this way, you know? So that's what I would say. I would try to figure out, you know, something bigger to say yes to. And you might already have that. You probably just didn't put it in perspective in that way. You probably already have something bigger to say yes to. It might be your health or, you know, your physical health, your mental health, you know, it could be a number of things, you know. So that's what I would do. I would try to figure out something bigger to say yes to, and it'll be easier to say no to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess one of the things that I've always aspired to do is create me a YouTube channel, mainly like comedy. So I guess
Okay.
how do I, and that might be the same thing that you were saying, maybe put a put a yes to creating a comedy following on YouTube or whatever over
Right.
the weed. I guess how would I develop that confidence, I guess, to make that first move, you know what I mean?
Well,
Regardless of, yeah.
you know, just do it, right? You might not be as prepared as you want to be. You might not have everything in order as you want to, but a lot of times that's our biggest problem is not taking action. Sometimes no ready or not, you just got to take action. So me myself, I would just put it in motion, and as you go, everything will start to line up the way that it's supposed to. But you'll never know if you don't take that first step. So you know, by you saying that you want to start that, I'm pretty sure you got material in mind. You got creative ideas already that you want to put in motion. I don't know if it depends on, you involving other people, but, sometimes you might have to just figure something out, on your own, if you don't have the people that you want to have in order to do it the way you envision. Sometimes you just got to start where you at. So that's what I would do. I would just say, fuck it and just start.
For sure, for
So,
sure. Well, I appreciate you, man.
oh, for sure.
Appreciate you for everything you do. I'm gonna definitely tap into the live some more, and yep, I'll tap in with you soon. I appreciate it
Oh, for
for
sure. No
everything.
problem. All right.
Yep,
Indeed.
take it easy.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
What's going on, brother?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. About yourself?
Good, good. Well, first off, rest in peace to Sinful the P and rest in peace to the Godfather. I'm not gonna be long, brother. So I'm starting my health and fitness routine right now. I've been going
Okay.
to the gym about 6 days a week. So
Okay.
I work two jobs. So uh roughly about maybe 60 hours a week. I wanted to know, like, how do you stay focused even though you're tired at the gym? Like, I'd be tired as hell, but
hmm
getting to the gym can be very difficult. So I wanted to know what's your motivation in staying fit,
You know,
even though you're tired.
it's funny you say that because I just went through that last night. Last night I really wanted to lay down, but I was like, nah, man, I can't. I gotta go. So, for me, I always say that the like you just said, the hardest part is just walking through those doors. But you already know how it goes. Soon as you walk through the doors, you gonna make something happen. You know what I mean? Even if
Yeah, true,
you might not have the energy to do everything that you want to do, doing something is better than doing nothing, right? So the
true.
key is just walking through those doors. But me, I just always do my best to keep in mind to make my values or to make my feelings subordinate to my values, meaning you
Mm,
know doing what's important in spite of how I feel. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
you just said, you work 60 hours a week. So I'm pretty sure that your feelings take a back seat to your work, which is more important all the time. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of times where you don't want to get up and go to work, but those feelings take a back seat to you going and getting your money and handling your business. So,
true.
you know, you can apply those same principles to, your
Hmm.
fitness routine. And trust me, I know you probably be tired as hell because, like I said, the job alone is something that you probably don't always feel like doing, yet and still you do it. You know, the fitness thing too. I don't know how you go about it. I don't know if it's a thing where once you finish work, you go home for a little while and then you go to the gym. But maybe probably going straight from work to the gym might be a better thing.
Yeah.
I don't like I said, I don't know what your routine is, but you might want to
Well,
switch
like
it up
tonight,
like that. Huh?
like tonight, I'm going to the gym right after work tonight. So,
Yeah, see that'll probably be
and
the,
then
the,
I,
the best bet. Go ahead, my
hmm
bad.
but we okay. So So this in terms of fatigue. So basically, just block the shit out and just get to it.
Yeah, that's what I would
Like
do.
in terms of just
You
being
know,
tired.
and
Yeah.
then too, you know, a big challenge in that is time management as well, man. Because I know you probably don't really have much time for sleep, but sleep is crucial though, man. You know, or getting your
Yeah.
rest. You know that plays a major role into it as well. So, you know, you probably have to figure out, you know, how to, you know, time your rest periods uh, as best you can as well. But like you said too, just gotta block the shit out sometimes, man, and just put your head down
Yeah.
and just grind,
No
man.
doubt.
So yeah.
No doubt. Well, that's all I wanted to ask you, brother. I appreciate you picking up.
Oh, no problem, man. I appreciate you. All right.
All right. No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, if you have not wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button and let me hydrate my game. Nada 86, good looking with the $500 SEK holla. I don't know what currency that is. Let me see where you super chatting from. Let me see. That's a new one on me. Oh, okay. That's the Swedish you donated from Sweden, huh? Dig that. Sweden in the house. Hey, you know, Nada 86, man, I just a few years ago found out that I'm Swedish. Partially. Obviously, I'm not fully Swedish. But you know, when I was doing research on ancestry.com, I came to find out that my dad is biracial. His mother was white, his father was black, right? So my maternal grandmother, her paternal grandparents were born in Sweden, right? Which are my great great grandparents. So my great great grandparents on my dad's side were Swedish, and uh, my grandmother's father, which is my great grandfather, was first generation American. You know, his parents were born in Sweden. He was born in the U.S. What's up with it, man?
Can you hear me, Freeze?
Loud and clear, man. What's happening with you?
What's up, man? Hey, this is D. Ed McAllister calling from
Oh,
Ohio,
okay,
baby.
for sure. That's what's up. What's going
Yeah.
on, man?
Hey, man. I grew up listening to West Coast music, baby. Spice One,
Oh, for sure.
MC8, E40 in the click. And
Yeah,
hold on,
yeah.
I got a surprise for you, real quick.
Okay, for sure.
Hold on.
Let's see what
Let
you.
me- yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I do it real quick for the homie.
Right, for sure.
I ain't seen you with one yet. Where yours at, man?
Yeah, I know I should go get one, man. I do need to go get one in honor of bro, man.
Yeah, man.
That was
But,
his thing right there.
yeah. But let me tell you this quick story of how I met y'all. Well, not in person, just
Yeah,
through the
yeah, I feel you.
internet. Uh, I think I was listening to Andre Taylor, and he had said something about sin, and I
Okay.
looked him up. But at that time, I had found out I had bladder cancer,
Hmm.
and Sin was doing his lives, and I had called him, and he prayed for me. And I know, I got people that's in the church in my family. They prayed for me too. Not to say that their prayers wasn't answered, but when that man prayed for me, man, I quit smoking cold turkey,
Hmm.
and it's been going on 3 years. And I wanted to. I talk to him periodically, but
Yeah.
I wanted to call him and thank him, but he
Yeah.
had passed away, and I never got that chance to.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a real treat to hear that now, man. And I'm pretty sure he's smiling, from the
Yeah,
heavens above. You dig? He
yeah,
don't come
for
down
sure.
from the heavens like he used to, man.
Right,
But I'm pretty sure he up there smiling.
right. Yeah, man. I never
Yeah.
got the chance to thank him, man. I was like, man, that was a cold brother, but I know you is too, man. All three of y'all, man. I learned a lot from y'all, and I'm still learning. I'm 44 years old, and I was calling him big bro. Hey, he the big homie.
For sure. It's all good. You 81, baby?
Yeah, no, 80, 1980.
Oh, okay. You 80. I'm 81. Dig that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Virgo, baby.
Oh, okay, for sure. Dig that.
Yeah, and there was I forget what it's called. I think there's a clip he did called what Pimp Should Do, and he was talking about your discipline and how he
Right.
appreciated your discipline, man, and how you quit things cold turkey too. Because when you under the circumstances that I was under, man, you just take on a whole nother perspective on life and a whole nother boldness. So for people out there that's lagging, you just gotta love yourself. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
indeed.
You gotta find out what's more valuable: them cigarettes, that weed, or taking care of yourself. You only got one body. You only got one life, man. You got to cherish that. You're supposed to, we God's vessel. We're supposed to be anyway.
Man, indeed, man. That's powerful, man. That made my day right there, man, for real.
You know what made my day is when you told me how your dad used to call you. What was that, page 37? Yeah,
Page 43.
yeah, page 43. Yeah, hurry up out the bathroom, page 43.
Yeah, page 43, man. Get up out the bathroom.
Yeah, hey, I've been following you ever since then, man.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one.
Yeah, when you ever gonna grow your hair back?
Nah, I'm gonna keep it like this, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cause
that's all I
like
want
in
to do.
Arizona, man, cause I spend a lot of time in AZ, man, and the water in Arizona is the water and the weather. I think is like real hard on your hair, man. So my hair was just real unhealthy. That's why I cut it. So
Okay.
yeah, if I was living in like Florida or something, Florida on the other hand is real good for your hair. So if I was living down there again, then I probably would. But as long as I'm in AZ, nah.
Hey man, when you gonna do a song with Taylor? When you and Drake Taylor gonna do a song together, man?
That's a good question, man. We need to, man. I definitely will do a song with bro. That's you know that's always open. But I need to though. That's a good you the first person to ever really ask me that. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a good idea. Yeah, that'll
What
be a good one.
about Primo Rice? You know Primo Rice
Yeah,
got
yeah,
a
yeah,
little.
yeah. I would I
He
would
got a
I
little
would
thing
gladly
with
do.
Sinful on the song. Did you know
Huh?
about that? He got a little clip with Sinful speaking on one of his songs.
Actually, he got a few songs with Sinful on there. That
Okay,
album.
so you already hip to him then.
Yeah. Well, I've been hip to him even before Sinful passed away. But
Okay.
but Primo, if you that album the song that you talking about, if you listen
Mm-hmm.
to that whole album, he got Sinful on there several times. But yeah, I would work with Primo as well. I listen to him all the time. So yeah, I would gladly do something with him for sure.
So when you gonna get back in the studio, man? Or you always in the studio?
Yeah, I've been in there, but I haven't been as frequently as I would like to. But I know I've said this plenty of times, but I'm like probably more serious now than I've ever been in a long time. And even though I might not be recording, I'm always creating. See, that's like me. It's kind of like training for a fight, like a boxer. I like to exercise before I start to like create the real shit. So what I've been doing lately is exercising, sharpening my tools and getting my shit, back right. So that's another reason why I haven't put together, that's one of the reasons why I haven't put together a song for Sinful. Everybody sweat me. I really messed up by doing the K Red song because now everybody got the expectation like, man, where the Sinful song at? They've been sweating me, but that's another part of the reason why I haven't done that yet, because when I do that, I gotta come with it. So I ain't finna just put any old thing together for bro. So yeah, but nah, I've been definitely sharpening my tools. So I'm gonna be recording real soon again. I'm gonna get into the swing of it. So yeah.
And one more question, man. Did you feel anything before? Did you know something? Did you feel any bad vibes that something was going to happen to him? Did you feel anything? You know how you get that feeling when you think something bad getting ready to happen?
Honestly, no, I didn't, man. But I won't say that I necessarily felt something, but at the same time, I know him, and I know he likes to downplay things, right? And a few days before he passed, well, as much as a week before he passed, he was telling me that he was sick, right? And bro, he wasn't the type to claim things, so he would have never went and got tested to find out if he got COVID. He would just, rather not claim it. But he was sick. And because I think that was a Sunday going into Monday when he passed. So that Friday before he passed, I had spoke with him, and he was like, yeah, I'm feeling better today. I worked out, I did some sit-ups, but looking at it in retrospect, I think he was still sick and he probably was getting worse, but he just didn't want me or anybody else to worry, because I probably would have been on him like, bro, you need to go to the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. So I did look back at that when he said that he had worked out that day. I was like, man, bro was capping, man. He didn't work out that day. He probably was sick as a dog still, you know what I mean? But yeah, so like I said, I didn't have necessarily a feeling, but and I kind of, even when he told me that he had worked out, because like I said, I know him. So when he said he had worked out, I think he was just saying that to throw me off. But I thought that at the time, you know what I mean? I'm thinking like, yeah, bro, he probably just trying to throw me off because I like, if I feel like something's wrong, he knows that I'm gonna bug him about it. You know what I mean? Or if it's just certain things, even beyond health, like, and we was like that with each other. If it's something that he believes that I should do, that I'm fronting on, or vice versa, we was the type, like, I'm gonna be on him. No matter how upset you get, no matter how much you hate me for it, I'm gonna stay on your ass until you go do what you're supposed to do. We was like that with each other. You know what I mean? We used to get on each other's nerves all the time with different things. So I think he probably thought that if he would have let me know that he was still sick, that I would have been sweating him about going to the hospital. And he probably didn't want me to sweat him about going to the hospital. So he just was like, oh yeah, I worked out today, knowing damn well he didn't, you know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah. That's how that
Well, the
was.
reason why I say that, man, because I had an uncle that I was close to. He passed away in 2022 in August. And I didn't feel anything, but for a whole week straight, and I told my mom this, I kept seeing the number 666, like on my receipt, when I buy things, on pH meters at my job, just on small things, man. I because my mom is in the church heavy, and she was like, oh, that's I said, either something bad going to happen to me or something around me bad going to happen, and then that happened.
Yeah.
He was snorting cocaine, man. He knew he had a bad heart, and he was still doing the shit anyway. I mean, so it could have been prevented. He's only 53, but
oh wow, yeah, that's like a veteran P that Sinful and myself was real cool with, man. Pepe Le Pew out of that San Francisco. He passed away, I think it was November 2020. Yeah, I think that was 2020. Yeah, it was. He passed away in November of 2020. Right around the time King Von and I think Mo3 had died around that same time. But yeah, around that time, Pepe Le Pew, he was the same way though. He used to play with his nose, man, and even after having heart failure and all kind of health problems, he just kept going. He was one of them. I'm a toot to the day I die. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what ended up happening with him too.
And that's what Sinful would say, man. He said, "You disrespecting the mercies of God."
Yep.
when he get you
For
second
sure.
chance.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. He right about that.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
it was good talking to you, Freeze, man. And
Oh
hey,
man,
man, I
Ed,
learned
I
a lot.
appreciate. I'm glad you tapped in, man. I know you've been
Yes,
around
sir,
for a
man.
long time, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Glad to finally talk to you.
West Coast, baby.
For sure, indeed. All
All
right,
right,
bro.
brother. Peace.
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 Yeah. What's up with it,
Can you hear
man?
me? Can you hear me, P? What's
Yeah, I
up
can
with
hear
it?
you.
I
What's
told you.
happening with you?
Okay, because I got these ear things on. They be acting up. Shit, I was just tapping in with you, man.
Oh, for sure. Indeed,
Seeing what's
man.
up with it. I told you that was me. I
Yeah,
told
yeah,
you.
yeah. So, yeah, when you was
Hmm.
like, come on, man, I figured it was you. But you know, a lot of cats be trying to
Right,
call themselves Hollywood, you know?
right. I feel you. You remember going to the Thai spot?
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yep, I remember we was in
okay.
Vegas. We
I'm
went to
just
the
checking.
Thai spot. Then we was hanging out on the strip. We was hanging out over there at the Emerald
Yeah.
Suites. All of that.
Is
Yep.
that, was we at the Emeralds? Because we was over there, and that's where Boss was at.
Yeah,
Clyde was
me,
over
you,
there.
Boss,
We was all
Clyde,
over there, pulled up.
SP, we all was over there. When
I remember that shit, bro.
that's when I had asked SP. I was like, I think I asked him, do he eat ass? And he was like,
Nigga had to think about it.
I said something about him eating ass because I don't know how eating ass even came into the conversation, but I said something about him eating ass, and he
Right.
was like,
That's crazy. I haven't seen that dude since. That was
yeah,
February 2017.
yeah, because I know that was before I roasted him in Miami.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, the legendary roasting in Miami for sure.
Damn, I missed that. What's the topic of discussion on here? This is my first time on here in doing anything like this. I'm just in some kind of mood today. Normally,
Yeah, nah,
I
it's
wouldn't
good
be
to see
caught
you though,
dead on
man.
here
But
like
nah, it
this.
ain't no particular topic. You know, people just joining and chopping it
Okay,
up. You know.
got you. Because I missed a bunch of others because I was sitting on here and it takes you out of the regular
Oh, when
YouTube
you get
app,
on
and
here,
then
it takes you out of the
it brings
chat.
me through. Yeah, and then it brings me through on the browser.
Yeah, you got to go
Like
to
I
the
had to
browser to
use a
get on
browser
here.
to
Yeah.
get on here. Exactly. Yeah. I'm in the car. That's why it's dark and shit. I'm in my car, but I'm at
Nah,
the
we can see
house
you though.
outside. Okay, for sure.
We can see your fluorescent ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I
Light
mean?
skin meeting
We
on a
team
Saturday.
fluorescent
We got
around here. You know.
got a light skin meeting going on.
Uh huh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What they been talking about on here?
People just been asking different questions and advice, and then the last brother who just was on here, Ed McAllister, man, he was sharing some good info in regards to Sinful. He was letting it be known that he discovered Sinful through Dre. He heard Dre talking about Sinful, and from there he tapped in with Sin, and then he was saying how
Okay.
he called in one time when Sin was live. He called in and spoke with Sin and let Sin know that he had bladder cancer, and he said Sin prayed for him on the line, and after Sin prayed for him, he quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey that day, and he said it's been 3 years now. So, excuse me. Yeah, that was dope. I was glad that he called and shared that good news. That's dope.
That's cool. Yeah, I know my aunt quit cigarettes like in the late '80s, early '90s. She quit cold turkey.
Yeah, that's how my
That's when
pops
I found out
was.
what the fuck cold turkey was.
Yeah. My pops did the same thing. I want to say my pops quit like in the early '80s. He quit smoking cigarettes probably when I was like a toddler or something, and he quit cold turkey as well. He ain't smoked a cigarette in like probably damn near 40 years. So
Yeah, I wish my dad would have quit because that shit killed my dad.
yeah, them cigarettes is a mother,
Yeah.
man. I think the cigarettes now is probably worse than they was back then. They probably
Shit,
got
you
more
might be right.
chemicals and all type
My
of shit.
my dad had emphysema and shit from that
Oh,
shit.
okay. Damn.
Mhm.
Yeah, them cigarettes.
Ain't no
is
game
some-
call up here.
Nah, you the first one for some game, you dig?
Oh man, I thought some game would have tapped in. I seen T Wills in the thing.
I think I did. I seen he said something to you, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. Cause I didn't know who the fuck that was. And he was like, "It's T Wills." I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh, I didn't
T
see when
Wills
he
tapped
said
in.
this T Wills, but I think I saw when he I saw when he said something to you. He said your name. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
How you been though?
I've been cool, man. Hey man, shit, while we on here,
Yeah.
man, you know, you've had the luxury to do certain things that a lot of people here haven't done, which is travel, to different parts of the world, man. And I know you done been over there to
Yeah,
that
true.
Thailand, man. So just walk us through, a moment in Thailand, man. What it's like, tell people probably something that they probably wouldn't know unless they went there.
It's very different. It's very eye opening. It's very hot. Well, I took my dumb ass. I went in April. April is there. This was 2017, so April is there. April, May is their summertime.
Okay.
So this is a different kind of hot.
So right
in
now it's
LA,
burning
like it
up
would be
over
like
there.
living in LA. Yeah, summer about to start. So like if you look on your phone, because they're like how many hours ahead of us? They're like 15, 16 hours ahead of us. But if you look at the weather in Bangkok, it'll say for us, it'll be in Fahrenheit, but it'll say like 94 degrees, but it'll really say it feels like 108, shit like that. So
Oh, it'll
it's
say
some
feels
crazy
like
heat because
108.
yeah, but it's sun hot and it's humid hot. That's a
Oh, so they
combo that I
got that
haven't really
humid type of
experienced
heat.
until I went over there. It's crazy, man. That shit's fucking crazy. I've never sweat that much in my life. Me and Rody Mack walking around over there at midnight, and I'm sweating. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
the first night that I was in Bangkok, I was outside, and I was just walking around, and I'm on American time, so it's 2 a.m. there, but it's noon here for me. Like my body feels like it's noon. You
Right.
dig what I'm saying? So I'm walking around and I'm just standing there, just taking in everything, just looking around, just standing like at this corner, at this light or whatever. I ended up bumping into this dude, and he was from California. He lived in Africa. He was like some military cat.
Okay.
But he was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "I kind of thought you were American." We started talking and shit. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm from California." I forget where he was from. And so we're going back and forth. We're talking. And he's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "I just got here." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to leave in a couple of days." But he's like, "Man, if you go over here, and man, these girls, man, they be all outside the hotel." And so I turned and looked at this nigga. I was like, "Oh, this nigga's tricking over here. That's what he's doing." I was like, "Okay," but I'm hearing him out. Like, okay, I'm like, "Oh, for real, bro?" He's like, "Yeah, man. And they'll go upstairs with you, man, and this and that, man. It don't even cost that much." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, bro. I'm not really on that, but
Right.
that's not, But so I'm just standing out there, another American. So I'm just chopping it up with him. Mine just like 2, 3 in the morning. And these girls walk by. It's 2 Asian girls walk by, and they're looking at me. And they're like smiling, and they both look, and then they just keep walking. And I looked at homie, and I was like, "Man, they're kind of friendly. Like, these bitches, they kind of friendly over here."
Yeah.
5 minutes go by. Me and dude still talking. These same girls come back, walking in our direction.
Yeah.
The same 2 girls. And the girls just grab me. They grab me by the hand, by the arm, and they're like, "Come on, come with us." And I'm like looking at homie, and I'm like, "You know them? Like, what the fuck?" And I'm like,
Right.
"All right, well, let's go. Where we going? Like, hold on a second. Where we going?" They took me up into this like this elevator that was on the ground level, and the elevator went up like a flight or two, or about a floor or two,
Yeah.
and it was a hookah lounge. So we go into this hookah lounge. Hookah lounge is run by Africans. I was tripping, my nigga. First, you know what I mean? Like, I was there, and in the first few minutes, some girls just snatched me off the street. But they weren't
Yeah.
on no how much money you got. Like, they weren't doing that. They were just like hella
Right.
friendly. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this don't happen in America.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's not like these girls don't approach you like that in America. So I was like, okay, I'm just taking it in. Dude comes up there with us. So we're in this hookah lounge. I'm meeting Africans from Mozambique. I've never met a nigga from Mozambique. until I was in that place. These
Yeah.
Africans were hella cool, but like I said, and I'm just, my mind's blown because these girls pull me off the street. I end up in a hookah lounge, and the hookah lounge is run by Africans, and I was like, "There's Africans here, like runners." I was like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" My first
Yeah.
day, not even 24 hours.
Right.
And then, so I'm chopping it with these girls, talking to them, but I can barely hear them over the music, but I can hear they have accents.
Yeah.
And so we were in there for probably like 30 minutes, and we go back outside because they're about to close the hookah lounge. So now it's like 3:30 or something like that. We go outside. Now I can hear these girls even better. Come to find out, they were from the Philippines. There were two Filipino girls,
Oh,
and
okay.
they worked at some club. Because I could hear their Filipino accents when we got outside, and they were like, "Yeah, we're from the Philippines." And I ended up like getting their numbers and shit, and they were working at some club, like some nightclub, promoting it. But
Oh,
you know, I
okay.
say all that just to say, man, the experience is just way different than being out here. That was my first night. Like I said, I wasn't even there 24 hours, and
Yeah.
girls were taking me off the street into this little spot just to hang out. Just
Yeah.
totally different. You know, the open arms are just way different.
Yeah, that's cool. And see, when you say that the Africans
I was fucking
were running a hookah lounge in Thailand, it makes me curious because I remember talking to Rody Mac just about, Southeast Asia in general. And
yeah.
I know he was talking specifically about the Philippines, but I want to say he was saying in most of the countries out there that, as a foreigner, you can't just go there and, start a business and own property and things like that. So it makes me
Right.
wonder if those African dudes, in Thailand did that through, a Thai person. Like
A
if they had,
local, yeah, like through a
yeah, if they
local.
had like a local partner that they went in with and,
Right, right, right.
they kind of like,
Or some Thai person owns it and he's just running it. You know what I
yeah, they
mean? Like
just
he's
running it
managing it or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
Or
was
they
a
might
gang
be
of
partners
Africans
or
in there,
something
bro.
like that. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. I know. Over there, you can only buy land if you're married.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what
You
Rody
know,
Mac was
unless you're from there or
telling
if
me.
you're married. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be married. Now you can own a unit, like an apartment unit or a condo unit on Thailand as a foreigner. You can own the unit, but you can't own the land, that's fine with me.
Oh,
Like
so you
whatever,
can
I'm not
buy a
tripping on
condo
that.
out there as a foreigner
Yeah, you can buy a condo.
and you don't
Yeah,
have
I've
to
been
be
talking to
married.
real estate people and shit over there. No, you
Oh,
don't have
that's
to be
dope.
married,
See, that's
but
dope. Yeah.
the building has to be 51% occupied by Thai people, 49%
Ah.
foreigner, but it has to be 51% Thai
So it has to basically
in
be
these buildings.
majority Thai people in
Thai.
the building.
The cap
Yeah.
the cap for foreigners is 49%. That's the cap.
At any particular property.
Yeah, like any of the residences, like condos or apartments,
Right.
any of those
Right.
buildings,
Right.
the cap is 49% for foreigners.
Right.
And I understand it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. They don't want foreigners coming in trying to take over shit.
Take over shit, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's dope. I wonder how commercial real estate works out there. Like if you wanted to get a storefront or
Yeah,
something like that, you probably got to be married for
there's a
that,
lot
huh?
of I see a lot of foreign, like Australian guys and English guy, British guys who own like bars and shit like that out there. Now I don't know what kind of red tape you have to go through, but whatever they're doing, they got it down.
Yeah. 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 That's dope.
I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah. 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 That's some good info though. I didn't know that much. Like you said that you could if the situation is right, you can like buy a condo out there. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh hell yeah, man! I've been talking to real estate people out there, like through email,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the crazy thing about it is they don't trip off of like credit. Because I was like, can you just pay cash outright? And they were like, yeah, if you want to just pay cash outright, because over here you can't just cash out 100 racks for a condo in cash without them getting up in your business.
Exactly. Right.
Over there, they're
Right.
not tripping.
Over there, it's all good. It's like the '80s over there.
Yeah.
You could
Right.
just
Money
go because
talk.
you know in the '80s you could just go cash some shit out around here, but not no more. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Not no more. Yeah.
yeah.
That
So
shit
over
over
there,
with.
it's still going on. That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You got to get out there. Or just anywhere. I don't know if you have a passport or not, but you got to
Man, hold
you
on.
got to do it, man.
Hold on.
Let's talk about it.
You did.
Let's talk about it.
Hold on. Bam.
Okay. You ready to
Yeah,
go?
man, passported up. It
Ready
ain't
to
got no
go.
tattoos on it or nothing like that. Ain't no ink on this thing yet. You know what I mean? But I do
It's
have it
primed
though.
and ready.
Yeah, I do have it,
It's
man.
primed and ready.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
gotta
Yeah.
I just gotta pop the cherry on that thing, man. I've been bullshitting. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah,
You
I
get
do
around to
have
it.
it. I am ready to go.
Then
You
you're
know.
gonna be wondering why you didn't do it sooner too. As soon as you go.
Oh, trust me, I'm already knowing that's gonna be the case when I finally do start moving around. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
remember Rody Mac saying the same thing. Because I think Rody Mac said he didn't start traveling the world till he was like in his 40s, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe even older than
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Man, we was like in our 20, like early in the game. Like we wasn't even really thinking about that shit. Like early
yeah, I
in the game,
know.
like in our 20s and shit. Like we wasn't thinking about really getting out of here. We was just worried about moving about the country, like around
Yeah,
here on the
being cross
bubble.
country for
We wasn't
sure.
even thinking about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I had already been doing my thing like up in Canada and shit. I was up in Canada doing shit, Vancouver, shit like that. I had work from up there.
yeah,
So I had been playing Vancouver, but that was it for me internationally. I mean,
right.
it still counts, but it's
Yeah,
it's so close to me. That's just
yeah,
2 hours away. So, but I had been up there doing that, but I didn't really think of it like some big old deal.
right,
But I
right.
was up there
Same
doing
here.
the
I
do.
never really when I was young, I never really looked at it like a must do.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Healthy habits
Yeah. I was
say
just up
Rody
there
Mac
because it
stay
was going
gone.
down up there and it was close.
Healthy habits
What'd
say
they say?
Rody Mac stay gone. Yeah, Rody Mac, man. You'll see Rody Mac in L.A. today, and tomorrow his ass will be in the
Yep.
Philippines.
Yep.
And then next
That's my
week,
guy though.
next week he'll be in Chicago or New York or something. And then the week after that, he'll
Right.
be in
At the Super
Thailand.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then he go to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Look, me and
yeah.
Rody was on the track in Bangkok. We was on the track. This nigga Rody sweating a Thai bitch into a corner, into a storefront it was closed, like the business was closed. So he got her boxed in the
So she
doorway.
was trying to stay in pocket on him.
The game is not the game over there. He's sweating the bitch like we really on some blade. But bitches are just outside. There's no it's not the game out there. It's just
Right.
hoes are
I'm already
down. There's
knowing
no
it
pimping
can't be
out
the
there.
same as over here.
So yeah. So Rody's sweating the brakes. So the bitch is just getting backed into the storefront. She don't know a fucking word he's saying because she don't speak English. And he's
Right.
sweating the bitch, dog. I was cracking up. I was like, come on, Rody, man. She don't I was like, man, let's go, man. She don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
That's my nigga. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
guy though. I fucks with Rody, man.
So have you been able to go to any other countries overseas besides Thailand?
I went to Thailand, I went to Colombia. But now it's like everybody's like going to these places and exposing these places and all that. Like I don't know, even more so now because I went to Colombia a few years back, and
Yeah, I
I
think I
don't
remember
feel it
when you
had the
went to
same.
Colombia.
I went there a few years back, and Colombia was cool. But what was fucked up was I planned the trip, and I was like, okay, well I was gonna go to Brazil first. I was gonna go to Brazil, but Corona was still out of control over there. So Brazil was closed. So they opened. So Colombia was open.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, fuck it. Like a month out, I booked everything. Little Airbnb, got the ticket for a cool, round trip, cool price. Booked it. Went through all the formalities, customs, boom, boom, boom. Like leaving here, boom, go in, fly in. Soon as I land in Colombia, the pilot got on the thing talking about there's a curfew because of Corona.
Damn.
Oh, I was so fucking. I was like, what?
Did
I was like,
y'all
that's just
land
my luck.
after
As
the
soon as I
curfew?
touched down. No, it was still daytime. I landed, but then curfew was Thursday night until Monday morning. So the whole entire
Damn,
weekend, like Friday, Saturday, man, that shit was crazy.
that's weak.
So I landed there my first fucking day, man. Didn't even get off
Damn,
the plane, and they went into their own version of a quarantine or whatever. But it was just for the weekends. But it was still a cool experience. Nothing but work everywhere.
that's what I
They're
hear.
all fine.
That's what
From
I hear.
18 to 50, they're all fine. But there's a lot of just dudes that are on sex tourism. Like I'm not on that.
Right, for
I
sure.
ran into a cat that was at the Airbnb I was staying at,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a YouTube cat. I've never
Okay.
seen him on YouTube, but he was American cat, and I just ran into him because, like I
Was he
said, he was
from
at
the
the
East
same
Coast?
Airbnb, so we were outside chopping it up. He was from, I want to say he was from Florida,
Oh, okay.
but he's
Because
there all the time.
I've seen a few quote unquote passport bros on YouTube. Like I'll be researching different countries to see what it would be like to visit there, and I see some of these dudes on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering if he
Yeah.
might be one of the guys I've probably seen before.
Okay. Well, I've never seen his YouTube, so I can't give you a concrete, who he is or what his YouTube is or anything like
Right.
that to jog your memory. But I was chopping it up with him because he was the only person that spoke English around there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Like my Spanish is okay, conversational. I can understand Spanish better than I can speak it, but I can speak it.
Same.
But I'm talking to him. So this is where I'm getting some English in. So he's like, hey man, what you doing later? And I'm like, I'm probably just gonna be, walking around, take a look at it. And he's like, well, man, I'm going to the strip club, man. And I was like, oh, here we go with this shit, right? It's like another one of these. So he's like, I'm going to this strip club, and he's like, man, you want to go or whatever? And I was like, before I could reply, he was like, man, well, really? He's like, man, really, it's like a whorehouse, man. It's like $17, but you can get a bitch, man, for like an hour. And I was like, nah, fam, I'm gonna just walk around and shit, bro. I'm not I'm not going in there on that.
Right.
But I was thinking to myself, I was like, it's a whorehouse. Everything, this is a third world country. Things are run differently.
Yeah.
But I was like, can you go now? Here go my the pimp gears and my sprockets start turning in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you go show up to the strip club or whatever the fuck, brothel, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Can you show up there and do you pay at the door? Like, are you giving the house the $17 and then you just pick a bitch and then you take her to a room? Because I was like, damn, can you pay the room? Now, this is just me just kind of playing devil's advocate, being open-minded about it. But I was like,
Right.
the pimping in me is like, no. But can you pay the $17 and just interview the bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you pay the house 17 or do you have to give it to the bitch? It's a gray area. It's a tricky situation. Because I was thinking, I was like, damn, can you pay the house and just go interview the bitch?
See, I don't know.
At the bitch?
I don't know what the exchange rate is over there, but I would imagine even with the exchange rate obviously being in their favor, I would still imagine that the 17 probably just gets you through the door, and then once the chick gets you alone, it's like, okay, she start upselling.
Where she could upcharge.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, because I would think that too.
Especially when they know that they have, a lot of American people and Canadians and, people where, the currency is strong. The UK, people coming from Australia, all these different places.
The Euro,
got a strong,
all that shit.
Yeah, got a strong currency. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be satisfied with just $17.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Needless to say, I didn't roll them dice. So
right, yeah, I'm already knowing you did.
I was just thinking, I was like, damn, because I could just interview the bitch. Like, could I have interviewed the bitch for 17 and the house took the money? And I don't know if they were going to give her a cut, but I'm not going in there to bust nothing down. I'm not with that. That's not my
right,
get
exactly.
down. But if I can get in the bitch's ear, because I'm looking at it as, me paying admission to get into the shake joint here and hollering at a bitch
Same type of
at the
thing.
shake
Yeah, I
joint.
feel what you're saying. You pay $20 to
You
get
dig
to
what
the
I'm saying? So
strip
that's why
club, and then
how I was thinking about it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Or is it a thing
Yeah. So I was
where,
looking at it like that,
like you said, it might be a thing where you pay 17 to get in, and then once you get in there, you go immediately to picking who you want to go spend time with type shit. It might be because he said it's like a
right.
whorehouse, and I ain't never been
Yeah,
inside no whorehouse, but I would imagine that it's something like that. You probably pay to
exactly.
get in,
Like
and
that.
then once you
And then
get
that's gonna
in,
put me in a weird mood.
yeah, it's like Rush Hour. Remember when Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, they was in there,
Yeah.
and Chris Tucker was like, I want you, I want
Yep.
you. It's probably something like that, you know what I mean?
Because now it's like you're standing there, you didn't pay money to get in, but now you're standing there like a for real customer. Wouldn't like
Right.
that feeling.
Yeah, for real. And it's like, if it ain't a
I wouldn't like
situation where once you get in, you could go to the bar, have a drink and chill, or, you know, if they serving food, you could sit down and eat or something like that.
Right.
Or
Just
is it
have
a thing
casual
where, like, look, we
conversation.
getting straight to the point. Ain't no
The shake
food, ain't
joint.
no drink, you know what I mean? Look, what's happening? Oh man. Damn. You still there? I don't know what happened. Bro got disconnected, I think. Okay, let's see. Oh, you still there? What's up with it, man?
What's up,
I'm
bro?
here, but it's I can't.
My audio good?
Yeah, you good. Audio and
Fuck no.
visual.
Okay. I hear somebody else. Oh, let me turn the other side off.
Why?
Yeah,
But
that's
It's still
Hollywood.
picking me up for some reason.
yeah, I still hear another voice.
Oh, you can't see it? Y'all can't see each other?
Oh, okay, I see now. Okay, so you got two people on the
Yeah,
yeah. But
Uh,
what's up, man? I'm Charisma 808.
my
I'm a
for
bad. Hey,
sure.
producer.
hey, I don't want to bring down the quality of the show. My cameras. My mom just called me. I need to call her back, but
Okay,
I'll try
yeah,
to hit
nah,
you
it's
back.
all good. You can always tap back in, but nah, you didn't bring it down. That was actually some good game we was chopping up. But shit, whenever you want, you can
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
back.
Okay, for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Charisma? How you feeling?
It's, blessed and highly favored, always striving and thriving, you know.
Indeed.
Shout out to the chat. I'm a producer. I'm in Las Vegas, and I heard you do the music, so I just wanted to reach out to you and get some beats to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. My emails, either one, you can email me at either one. Both of them are freeze as it, like how my name is spelled on this channel. And
Okay, Gmail.
yeah, Gmail. Yep.
Cool. Is it? Oh yeah. All right. I got you. I'm gonna send you a few beats, and I appreciate you for doing a review on our show, on our brand. You know.
Yeah. I saw that you was associated with that, man. That's what's up. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah,
Shout out to
man. I
Sin City
appreciate
Stories.
that.
You did.
Yeah. And I just got a question. I just want to throw at you.
Okay.
So what's your opinion on code approaching? Just
Code
general
approaching.
opinion.
Um, you know, I was doing
That's what
that
they call
before.
it in the red pill space. My
Yeah,
bad. Okay.
I was doing it before it was even a terminology to put with it. But me is just as simple as, if you see somebody that you interested in, I only see pros in quote unquote cold approaching. I don't see any cons in it,
Yeah. Same.
because now, of course, like I said, me myself, I'm not just approaching any and everything, right? And I could see how it could have a lot of negative outcomes if you're just the type who approaches any and everybody. But if you're the type who is, reserved in who you approach and how you approach, then, I only see pros with it. Even in being rejected or denied or declined, there's still pros in it because, at least for me, I'm taking something from that, you know,
Yeah.
and applying it to being better moving forward. So and then not just that, but you know, some of the best women that I've had in my life, I got quote unquote cold approaching. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think a lot of people think too much into it. You know, the people who are adverse to it, I think they think too much into it, and you know, they never do it. But
Yeah.
if you're the type who does it, you know, sometimes it could be the simplest thing that you say to a chick that'll have her tuned in. Like for instance, right? You in Vegas. I remember one time it was New Year's Eve. I think it was New Year's Eve, 2010 going into 2011. And, you know, back then it was Bill's before it was the Cromwell. And Bill's used to have a bar that was right next to Dre's. Now, you know, the bar and the Cromwell is a little ways down from Dre's. But back then they
Absolutely.
used to have a bar that was right next, like where those tables are now. The bar used to be right there, right next to Dre's. So I'm standing there with a partner of mine, and this beautiful Israeli chick came walking past, right? And my partner was trying to get at her. I wasn't even trying to get at her. You know what I mean? My partner was saying something to her, and like she had like accidentally brushed up against him, and you know, she said something to him. They said they exchanged words, but then she was about to keep going, and she had brushed her titty up against him. So I was like, "Damn, titties just all over the place." That's all I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, "Damn, titties just all over the place." And then she turned around and came up to me and was like, "Ha, what did you say?" And I ended up having that chick for about 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you just never know what may come of a quote unquote cold approach. You know,
Yeah.
but I
Absolutely.
like basically my point is you stand to gain a lot more than you stand to lose. So
Mhm. Yeah, I'll be outside with it. You know, if I see something, I say something.
hmm
Um, so, and I don't put too much thought into it.
right.
And yeah, it's that sometimes she might be fucking with it, sometimes she might not, and
Yeah, and if
it's
she
cool.
don't, it's all good.
Yeah, so you know, but I'm gonna send you some beats,
Indeed.
and you know, hopefully we can work from there. I really rock with your show. Again, I appreciate you for giving us that review and shouting us out at the same time. A lot of
Indeed, man.
guys,
It's
they
a
just
few other videos that y'all got that I was thinking about reviewing too. So I'll probably end up reviewing some other videos of yours as well, man. But I appreciate y'all's content though, man.
yeah,
I like what y'all doing. It's not the
we
typical, because you already know it's kind of like a trend now for people to interview people on the streets. But I just like the
yeah,
way y'all. I just like y'all's flavor, you know,
we
as opposed to most other
appreciate
people.
it. We actually turned into a all forms type of content. So I don't know if you've seen the car scene. So we actually gonna be start branching out a little bit. So we just gonna be just boxed in, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. And
right,
yeah, we just didn't want to do the typical. Can you give me a 360? What's your body count? Uh, my
right. All
thing is
that.
to
Yeah, exactly.
get into the psyche of it all, and
Yeah, which is
nothing's
dope.
really planned. So it's never planned. So we've been at it for like a year. So we just go out there and make it happen.
Yeah, man, y'all to have only been at it for a year, man, y'all have made a lot of progress in comparison to other, you know,
Yeah.
channels in your age range, in the year old range. You know what I mean? Y'all moving fast.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we pushing that real, the a side that the world don't really get to see like that, where it's not fabricated podcast type of setup and just doing the OnlyFans girl thing. And
Yeah,
whoever
y'all
do
out
that,
there
okay, they can do
with the
that.
raw,
But yeah,
uncut, down and dirty.
yeah, man, we be getting shit, we be getting rejected too with that, but it's cool and like you know, just keep it moving. You know, if
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not,
for sure.
that's all you can do. I also work with Ambassador Ron, so me and him we pretty cool.
Oh,
I
okay,
shot
for
some
sure.
stuff. Yeah, he's supposed to be hopping on some of my beats too.
Oh,
But
okay, that's dope.
I rock with Sinful to Peace content, man, and I'm just staying active, staying healthy, staying on the up and up, making sure I'm drinking my water, eating my
For
fruits,
sure.
all that good stuff, man, and we just gonna stay active.
Indeed, man. I appreciate you, man. I look forward to hearing your beats too.
All right, brother, stay blessed.
All right. Blessings to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stuff, man, and
What it do? What it do?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling all gravy. What about yourself?
Oh, fantastic, man.
Yeah, man, I just had a couple questions for you, man.
I got some answers.
All right, so to stay good with the game, you know what I'm saying? I call myself a coach.
Okay.
So with the game, I got a couple females I've been dealing with, but I'm messing with the snow now. I
Okay.
usually mess with the blacks, but I'm messing with the snow, but she's super emotional. So I was trying to say, man, have you ever dealt with something like that?
I mean, shit, they females. Have you called in before a long time ago?
Man, I called in on Sinful's page a couple times, but I ain't never called on your page, Pippin.
Yeah, I think I seen you before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I'm up in the Mile
heard
High
you
City
before.
right now, though.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, well, as far as the emotionalism, man, like I said, that kind of come with the territory. It's just different levels and degrees of emotionalism and different brands of emotionalism, right? But
Correct.
you know, uh like I say all the time, man, everybody ain't for the game, so you got to determine that first. You got to determine if this individual is for the game, and then once you determine that they are for the game, you just got to, like I say, man, it's all about understanding, man. That's the strongest human urge that we all have, is to be understood. So the better you understand somebody, the more cooperation you'll be able to get from that somebody. So but then some people, some ladies, man, they just gonna be emotional no matter what. That's just their nature. Some of them, it's just you got to weigh out the pros and cons and see if it's worth your while to even deal with, man.
Yeah, that's
It
what I'm
sounds
kind of
like she
figuring
probably
out.
young too.
Nah, she a vintage type. She like 45, you know what I mean? She broke me off a
Oh,
little
okay.
chain. But she's
Excuse
like
me.
super emotional, like crying almost every day. Kind of how Sid was talking about old girl having the seizures. Like, man, like what is going on with this? Like, so I'm trying to
That's
figure it
funny.
out, man. I'm trying to see, you know what I mean? I'm trying to work through it. Like how Sid say, sometimes you got to pip through it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got
Yeah.
to pip. So I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, well, if she's 45, she's gonna be who she is. She is who she is, man. So once you take the time to understand her, if you do understand her well enough already, you just got to figure out if the risk is worth the reward.
I feel that. Okay. My next question is, man, you know what I mean? Kind of like how you lost Sin. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? I had a couple P partners that I fellowship with, but they sitting down right now. You know what I mean? So I don't
Okay.
have that same presence where I
Yeah.
can kind of, you know what I mean, talk to and get some game from. So what do you do to, you know what I mean, help you get through things like that?
Uh, you know, well, it's a trip, man. I still chop it up with bro, even though he been gone. You know what I mean? Like I still chop it up like he's still here sometimes, man. So it might be, unconventional for most people, but I kind of do that. But then, I've been around a long time, man. So I got a lot of P partners and loved ones, who in the game that, I chop it up with. It's a phone call away. So that's what I do, man.
Okay, yeah. Most of my other, you know what I mean, people I hang out with, they more like old boy was just talking about. They trying to spend some money in Thailand. You know what I mean? They trying to do it like they trying to play
You ain't
like
trying
that. I'm like,
to you ain't trying to do the TT TIT
no,
trip to
I ain't trying
Thailand.
to do
You know
that. You know what I mean?
what I mean? Ain't no tricking in Thailand going on.
Hey man, I ain't trying to do that. So I'm like, man, anytime I try to fellowship with them, they go back to that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I can't even really say that to y'all. Like, oh man.
Yeah, trust me, I know
Okay.
how it go, man. But yeah, like I said, man, I've been around a long time, and I've been a lot of places and rubbed elbows with a lot of people, man. So I just, I through that, I have, a good amount of people, man, that I could reach out to and chop game with, man. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. Then my last question, you know what I mean? I see you stay healthy. What is something you do to make sure you're motivated to get up and, do that workout like you do every day?
I just think about what it's like to not do it, because I've fallen off, my routine, several times over the years, and at this point, I don't like, falling off and then starting over again. And, I don't like the way my body feels when I fall off. I don't like the way my body looks when I fall off. You know what I mean? So like I was talking about earlier, saying no to this by having a bigger thing to say yes to. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I just appreciate the benefits of working out. How it makes me feel, how it makes my body look, and then I just like being strong. You know what I mean? Of course, the look is an added plus, but I just like my body being strong. You know what I mean? I don't like the feeling of if I slack off for a month or two and then I come back, I don't have the same strength anymore. I went from doing 12 pull-ups to, one or two pull-ups. I don't like that. You know what I mean? And so I keep that in the back of my mind. Like I can't go back there. You know what I mean? So that's what keeps me, consistent.
Okay. I like to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a mental game more. I got to get mentally stronger. I feel that.
Yeah, and then it's like I said, the look is the added plus, but it's just a good thing to speak with your appearance in that way. When you're in shape and you're fit, it says a lot to people. You know what I mean? Especially to the ladies. One thing when you in shape, it's a certain type of responsibility that comes with that. You don't really see irresponsible people that's like super fit and in shape.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Or people that just don't have their shit together. It shows that you're not lazy. It shows that you ambitious. You know what I mean? It shows that you care about yourself, at least to a certain extent. And to me, it just speaks a lot of good things, a lot of positive things with your appearance when you take care of your body in that way. So
Yeah, I can see that because, like how a boy was talking earlier with the cold approach, you know what I mean? That's one of my favorite things to do when I go outside. It's the
same
campaign. I don't
here.
care if
Yep.
she big, little, I don't care what she look like. Let me get in your face real quick. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for real.
So I do see that. You know what I mean? It does help with my confidence. It does help when the ladies look at me like, oh, okay, they feel on me. They like off rip. They kind of coming towards me just off of that because they see my discipline.
Right, exactly. That's another thing about it. It
Yeah.
definitely takes discipline to have your body right. So
Yeah, I see that. I see that, man. Okay. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. I want to
oh,
give
for
you your
sure.
flowers, like I gave saying. I give you your flowers now, Pimpin'. You know what I mean? While you still on
Man.
this earth, running around, giving up the real game to the people.
For sure. For sure, man. Kay, I
Appreciate you.
appreciate you, man.
You all good, man. I'm gonna tap back in later, man. Next
All right.
time you do one, I'm gonna tap back in.
For sure.
All right, Pimpin'.
All right. Yep. Is this the big homie Clean?
Hey, how you know? The name came up.
Ain't too many cleans to be up in here, man. What's happening with you?
Hey, please. What's up, Easy?
What's going on, man? Look like you out in traffic moving around.
Oh yeah, for sure. You already know, man. Look, I'm mad. I'm mad. It was a last minute type of situation, so I ain't suited or booted or nothing. But hey, that mouthpiece open up. They gonna know. It's not no rapper, not no trapper. You know what I'm saying? Not a rapper, not a trapper. I'm here to get at her. You know what I'm saying? But man, what is the name of that song, bro? Look, I'm mad really be playing, and I can't. I remember when you played it that time, and I said put it out, and you never put it out. I've been trying to
What
look
song
for
you
it,
talking
search
about?
for it. I don't know. You was talking that shit though. Like, damn, I was hoping.
Song.
Yeah,
I played it on a live before.
Yeah,
but I didn't put it out. You make me wonder. Let me see.
And when I told you, I said put that out. Everybody started commenting, fire emojis, everything. I don't know why you ain't do nothing with it.
You made me wonder.
Cause I'm like, send it to me at least if you don't want to put it out. For real. Sometimes I need that inspiration.
For sure. Let me see something.
I
Hold on.
I like that.
Let me see if I wonder if you're talking about this song. Can you hear it?
I'm some pimpin' for sure. No mention the comprehension, the simple for sure. If I catch a bitch listening, I'm spittin' for sure. If you catch a bitch with me, then that bitch is a hoe. Hello? My conversation is a grip, and you gon' probably have to sell your soul for this deal. Where it's at, bitch? I got to get broke off. Taxing for everything, even my hello calls. My conversation is a grip, and you gon' probably have to sell your soul for this deal. Where it's at, bitch? I got to get broke off. Taxing for everything, even my hello calls. Pimpin' is the reason that these hoes can't sleep. It's break a trick season, and hellos ain't cheap. Hello? Maneuver so pimpishly and expensively, your debit may end up with charges pending if you mention me. Sipping on liquid love from a wine glass. You call it water, I call it love. Keep in mind that I'm one of a kind. I ain't nothing like them boys. We said hello to each other, then she got the invoice. Cause I'm some pimpin' for sure. No mention the comprehension, the simple for sure. If I catch a bitch listening, I'm spittin' for sure. If you catch a bitch with me, then that bitch is a hoe. Hello? My conversation is a grip, and you gon' probably have to sell your soul for this deal. Where it's at, bitch? I got to get broke off. Taxing for everything.
Yeah, I was thinking you might have been talking about that song, but probably not.
Nah, it's not that one, but I fuck with that too. You know
I got a few songs. Well, not a few. I got I ain't gonna say a lot, but I got a good amount of songs that I haven't put out yet. So now I see people asking in the comments, is that on YouTube? Nah, that one ain't on there, man. But it's gonna be on there.
Right. That's what man. Listen, just like dude came up here and said he a producer wanted to sing you something. People really be fucking with the music, and you be bullshit. Like,
nah,
for real,
I ain't
man.
gonna lie. You right about that. I'm gonna take that. I can't even argue that.
Yeah, cause you got the advantage. You know, I don't want to say too much on here, but man, you got the advantage. So you know, listen, you could be doing a tour while you're doing a tour. You hear me? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like for real. You know what I mean? Like that's what I did. You know, I said, you know, I gave up on the music after a situation happened to me. Something, you know, ever get a chance to rap to you or something, you know, talk about that. But yeah, man, that's why one of the reasons why I fuck with Sin so much is because the message that he always preached was to make this look good for everybody. Make this look good. Make this look good for the squares. Because you know what the squares assume, especially when you in a city or a town where they don't really see no ism. Only thing they know is what they seen in a movie or you know, what they seen in a movie on TV and you know, damn, I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied, but you know the word I'm looking for though. But
yeah,
you know, it's just a misrepresentation of it. So I always wanted to look good, you know, for everybody, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, and listen, I was facing 400 years. You know what I'm saying? I was facing 400 years, a bunch of shit that didn't involve me, but shit that do involve me just from fucking around and not doing what you're supposed to do and not having these standards, you know, and dealing with people that you shouldn't deal with or not really fully knowing somebody and just dealing with somebody just because it's some money involved, that should get you in trouble, you know?
Right.
And situation like that happened with me, and at the time, I had my deal, and nobody reached out to me, nobody helped me. They dropped me actually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
sounds about right.
everybody,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody cut ties with me. So I always said, you know, fuck it, but I still love to do it. I do it for me, and you know, if you see, I don't know if you pay attention to my Instagram and stuff, you see is artists that I manage, and a couple, you know, couple ladies in the game. You know, that's they. You know, a lot of these young chicks, they want to rap now, stuff like that.
Right,
So,
for sure.
so I'm not too opposed to it. You know what I mean? But I help them and I guide them, and you know, I'm just saying, like, I just see a lot of opportunities when we're in different cities, different states, you know, and put together these little shows and the people that come out. And, you know, if you're in a certain lifestyle, man, look, them females help bring them fans out to them shows.
Yeah, for sure.
To them places. So, you know, yeah, man, I want to see you out. I want to chop it up with you. I want to see you perform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All of that
sure.
shit. When we, you know, everywhere, like I said, man, city to city. But before I get off of here, it was something. I'm like, I don't like to give out too much game, man. Like I want people to get the game, and I love it, but especially not on here, I can't give out too much game.
Nah, I feel you already know.
So,
yeah.
So right. So I be wanting. I'm like, man, whatever. I want to get a chance to rap to you, man, so we can exchange some things. Because I heard you tell the one dude, he said something about Colombia or something, and was talking about going in one of them houses, and you said you never been in one.
Yeah.
Like listen, I mean, well, you don't necessarily have to be in one, but man, listen, it's a, you know, y'all West Coast shit a little different than out here. So
I'm already knowing.
So I'ma just say, man, like, you know what I mean? Whenever you get a chance, man, we chop it up or something. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, how you doing that? You don't know what that was. But yeah, and so it's like I said, man, it was something that I'm pretty sure you might already be knowing what's up. But I'm like, if not, something that I could put you on, and it's something that you might could put me on. Oh, that's what. Before I go to one more thing, before I go. So as far as, because I done been on the West Coast a couple times, but I never really played with LA, and usually that's because of the gang shit, right? So
yeah.
I try to give advice to a lot of the youngins and other people that's moving around in there, and I can still only give them advice from just any hood point of view. But I know that it's so different out there in LA, and the politics is so different. So what's some kind of advice that you would give someone, or you know, just anybody? Because this even including me, but just to anybody else. Like, you might get somebody, you know, from out of town, out of state, and they go out there, you know, it's certain numbers you don't want to be at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
certain streets, certain areas.
The safest rule of thumb that I can tell people about LA or just California, period, but especially Southern California, is to not wear any sports teams. You know, like if I was like, you know, visiting California and I'm not from there, because I mean, even being from there, I'm moving this way. So especially not being from there and not really being familiar with all the different areas and, like you said, the politics and whatnot, just to keep yourself on the safe side of things, I wouldn't wear any sports teams. And whether it's college or, you know, professional, NFL, baseball, basketball, I wouldn't wear no sports teams. None.
Right.
You know, because 9 times out of 10, it's a good chance that sports team represents a certain gang in a certain neighborhood. And one thing about every gang in California is that they all have ops. They all got enemies. So, yeah, just to be on the safe side, no sports teams. And then, you know, like you said, as far as like, you know, hood advice, just having that hood sense, you know, if you from the hood, no matter what hood you from, you know not to be walking around looking like a lick. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you just on some bullshit and, you know, you inviting the smoke, which most people who out of town ain't, you know, I just wouldn't walk around looking like a lick. You know, I wouldn't be moving around LA with no bunch of jewelry on. You know, whatever vehicle you in, I would be riding in something, you know, low key, inconspicuous. You know, that's what I would be doing.
Right. So, cause you know, like I said, like kind of us similar. That's why I'm like, damn, I'm surprised I never really ran across y'all, man. Cause you know, with me jumping in getting my feet wet was in Vegas around like the
Right.
09.
Right.
And you know, so even being out there, so on the East Coast we got the gangs and shit, but just even being in Vegas really opened my eyes to like, because I went to Vegas before I even been to Cali or
Yeah.
Arizona, anywhere. Vegas was probably the first place I went on the West. So
Right.
just even being out there and being in the club and being in the neighborhood, because of the chick that lived out there, so I used to be in the town. Like I'm, you know, not all. I was all for the strip. I'm out there where they. I don't know if they still got them now, where they have like all the canneries. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
The
the East
casinos.
Side Cannery and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to, you know, she was in the town, and you know, she took me to a couple clubs and stuff like that, a couple places. So just to see them niggas really banging and you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah,
bandanas
yeah.
and throwing up their shit, but it was cool though. And then you know, fucking with me, they knew I was from the East Coast, so everything was cool. So I met a lot of people, a lot of bangers, P's, met a lot of people out there in my little time out there. But I just know that LA shit is different, you know. And I've
Yeah.
been in the Bay, and I didn't even think the Bay had gangs, but even they shit was still cooler. And my man used to tell me, because he from Oakland, so he tell me like yeah, out here is cool. He was like, it ain't like that LA shit though, like. You know, he
Yeah,
like
they
the LA
got
shit is so
the
different.
Bay, like you say, Oakland, they got gangs and shit, but it's not like gang banging. It ain't like you said, it ain't like LA. They don't have Crips and Bloods or nothing like that. But they do have like they different territories and neighborhoods that might not get along with different neighborhoods and things like that. You know, they call it turfing. You know,
Yeah,
but yeah, they got they shit too. I mean, it's
but
all to me,
but it
it's all
seemed like
gang
they
banging
wasn't
anyway.
fucking right. But it seemed like they wasn't fucking with the ism though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really mixed as much, and that's kind of the point of like what I'm getting to. So like I had a partner that went out there and he said you know that they it was fucking with, you know, with his work. So it's like they out there saying shit like, yeah, you ain't from out here, you can't be out here. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about
you're
in LA?
like even when yeah. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even when
Nah,
they
LA
sweating her,
LA be
they
on that for
sweating her.
sure.
They like yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's saying that they sweating his work, talking about like, oh, if your folks ain't from the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they on this
Check
shit
this
like
out,
if you like your
Groove.
folks,
If your
yeah, like
folks ain't from the set, Groove, you can't be over here.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, damn. You know, I know you probably don't want to say too much on here, but I'm like, damn. So is there certain areas that's cooler than others, or certain shit like? Because like I said, with the politics shit, I just don't know how it go. I'm like, if I'm out there, I already know not to wear no athletic shit. I'm strictly suited and booted when I come
Yeah,
out
for
there.
sure.
Like,
For sure.
yeah,
But as far as like territories, yeah, it's definitely places that are less problematic than others as far as that shit go, all that, you know, if your folks ain't from over here, you can't be over here type shit. Yeah, it's different areas that you don't have that problem, you know. But then too, I don't know, I guess because I'm from out there, man, I just know how to move, and I even being confronted with certain things, man, I just know how to deal with it, you know. But
right. And I know you being born and raised out there, and you still not being affiliated with anything. I'm like, I know it's still different though. You know, you still from there. So
yeah,
you know, if somebody still, so like, look, matter of fact, if somebody you, because I know this shit probably do happen. They press you with something, and they be like, "Where you from?" You know what I'm saying? You don't bang or nothing, but do you still tell them? You still tell them where you from?
You know, I just let it be known that I'm a non-affiliate, but I'm from Long Beach. You know what I mean? You know, that's how I address that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, non-affiliate, but you know, I'm from. And then it all depends on how you say it too. See, a lot of quote unquote non-affiliates be scared to say that they're a non-affiliate or that they not from nowhere. You know, and it all goes. It all depends on how you say it too. Like all that. Oh man, I ain't from nowhere. I don't bang. Like, nah. Like I'm a non-affiliate. You know what I mean? I proudly wear that badge, you know, like it's a gang. I say I'm a non-affiliate like that's a gang, you know what I mean? Like non-affiliate, man, but I'm from Long Beach, you know. Or I'll, you know, depending on, you know, I'll check people's temperature because everybody don't like the pimping. But, you know, a lot of gangbangers be cool with the pimping, you know, and I let them know, like, look, man, you know, I'm a non-affiliate. I ain't never been a part of nobody's hood, but, you know, I'm some pimping, man. I'm over here pimping. You know, I'm not over here, you know, set tripping on you or, you know, trying to, you know, take over your hood or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know, trying to break on the tricks in your hood. That's all. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't trying to break on the tricks in the hood. I'm breaking on the tricks in the hood, so we not even in competition with each other. You know what I mean? So we here for two different reasons, you know, so you ain't got to worry about me. So that's how I approach it. But, you know, like I tell people all the time too, man, the bottom line is wherever you are in the world, you know, in most cases, as long as you make it clear that you're a man and you not on no tough guy shit, but at the same time, you ain't on no bitch shit. You know what I mean? You're not scary, but you a man. In most cases, man, you know, people respect that. That's been my experience. So, you know, with that being the case, man, I usually don't have no problems, you know, and to be real, like, being out of town, you know, going to LA, that can actually play, you know, if you know how to handle yourself and how to maneuver, that can actually play more in your favor than being from LA, you know, because most people in LA is from a certain hood or a certain territory. You know what I mean? And, you know, everybody got ops. So if you're not involved in nobody's politics, you know, and at the same time, like I said, you making it clear that you a man, you ain't on no tough guy shit, but you ain't on no bitch shit neither. You know, a lot of times, you know, people will be cool with you. So.
Right. Okay. Because I know it's not just me. I'm pretty sure you answered that question for a lot of people out there. You know what I'm saying? And because I still tell people, like, man, you gotta get to the West. Like, you got. I don't care, you down south, Midwest, East Coast. You gotta get to the West, man. They breathe this shit out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for sure. Man. Like, them chicks be made for this shit. They be built for this shit, man. Like, they just see that their whole life damn near. So I'm like, you wanna go knock you something, man? You gotta get down there. Go to the West.
For sure.
But, man, appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go. I'm mad because I don't even know if I'm on here on the YouTube or not. I can't see nothing. Like, it got me. I don't know. It just say something, but I can't see no comments, no nothing. Hopefully somebody was on there telling me I'm handsome. Wanted to get my info. You know what I mean? Have a little conversation or a line. I'm mad I can't even see it. You know what I'm saying? I should have showed them I was handsome first. Hold on, man. Just in case they on there. You know, just in case they need to see me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
go ahead, get your campaign on one time real quick.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna try a little bit. But nah, man, go ahead. Appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see you back at it, man. One of the other videos the other day, I wanted to comment that shit. Matter of fact, I think it was something kind of similar to what I was just asking you. It was something about with the with the young people. You say he at first he was rowdy and then he ended up apologizing to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that message right there, man, that's definitely needed out here, especially for these little young ones coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I can't even call them no ism yet. They still YNs, man. So,
Yeah, for sure.
a
Definitely
lot,
that. Yeah, they do need
right?
that for sure.
They need that to learn how to go, man, and everything can be nice and smooth. And like you said, we all men out here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But yeah, man, do your thing. Blessings to you. You know.
Clean, man. I appreciate you tapping in. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right,
For
peace.
sure. All right. Yep. Yeah, that's the big homie Clean. Oh shit, motor culture in the comments banging on people. I'm from North Oakland, 4900 block. You dig? North Oakland on mine, 4900 block though. You dig? Oh man. CG say motor culture. Sup love, niggas be bipping through that thing. I stayed in Cyprus. I stayed in Cyprus and I stayed in the East 20th by Roosevelt in 77th. And I stayed in the Ritz too. Yeah, see, that's why, that bipping shit, man. I told y'all about how they bipped me, man, on the day of Kenny Red's funeral, man. We was out having lunch at the vegan restaurant, man. Solely vegan, I think. Yeah, if you ever in downtown Oakland, man, solely vegan, fire vegan spot for real. But yeah, man, they bipped me in broad daylight, man. Cost me $600 to get my back window replaced, which was very inconvenient, man. But yeah, with that being the case, man, I couldn't live in the Bay just for that reason alone, man. The bippers is gonna get you, for sure. If you've been living in the Bay for years, you probably done been bipped at least one time, for sure. You know what I mean? That shit is like COVID, man. It's gonna get you. The bippers are going to get you for sure, man. You can't park nowhere. And then what I started doing after I got bipped, I just started making it a point to not have anything, of value easily accessible inside the car, and I just leave my windows down. Like, I'm leaving the windows down. Like, y'all ain't even got to break nothing. You know what I mean? You're more than welcome to go in, take a tour of the car. You know what I mean? Go in, look around. You know what I mean? If you see something simple like some chapstick or a car charger or something that you want, you're more than welcome to take that. You know what I mean? I ain't got no problem with it. Just don't break nothing, man. That's all I want. Don't break nothing inside here, man. But, poke your head in. You can even open the door, have a seat, feel the red leather. You know what I mean? It's all good. Just don't break nothing. Them bippers, man, they gonna get you in the Bay. I'm cool. And for those of y'all who don't know what bipping is, that's when they break your window to get inside your car. It's a little thing they got called a bipper, and they put it on your window and it shatters the window, and that's why they call it bipping. But the bippers is gonna get you for sure in the Bay. Matter of fact, next time I go to the Bay, I'm gonna start leaving milk and cookies in the car, you know what I mean? With a note, like enjoy, you know what I mean? But don't break nothing. Leave the windows down, you know what I mean? Have some milk and cookies on the center console with a note, you know what I mean? Thank you for not breaking nothing. Enjoy the milk and cookies, like I'm gonna have to start doing that when I go to the Bay, man, because I don't want no problems, man. I'd rather spend a few dollars on some milk and cookies than pay $600 to get another window replaced, man. I'm cool. For real. What's up with it, man?
Oh, okay, it's back on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, because I'm not using my ear things and shit. I was calling back. I ended up playing phone tag with my mom, so I don't know if she's gonna call back or not. What I missed, though?
We was just chopping it up about most
I came in there
recently.
for a second.
Yeah, we last was just
It's
talking
in the
about
chat.
how to move safely around LA for people out of town
Yeah,
that ain't, you know, really
yeah,
familiar with the lay of the land. You know how they can maneuver safely around there.
yeah,
And as I know you already
yeah. It's
know,
tricky around there.
yeah,
It's tricky.
no sports teams. You
No
know what I
sports
mean?
teams. Neutral colors.
Right, yeah,
uh,
white, black.
yeah, it's tricky. It's
Not
tricky.
too much orange.
Fortunately for me, I ain't never had no issues around there, bro. As long as I've been around there, I never had a
But see,
problem.
that's because you just like, you know how to not do too much, and you know how to you just familiar with the area. It's just something about when you know where you
Yeah,
at. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'm very unassuming as well. Um, but a nigga do know how to move.
Yeah, yeah. You know your way around there, so you know. Um, yeah, but you know, like you said, it get real tricky, man. Like me, I'm not. It's certain gas stations that I'm never gonna pull up to. It's just it's a lot.
Hmm. I remember DS was telling me that he's like I ain't getting gas over here. I ain't getting gas over here, and I'm just like, dang. But it's a trip to me, not being from there, um, or you know, like not being born and raised there. You know, being from somewhere else, but spending a lot of time down there. But just how real it is for motherfuckers that are from there to where you can't do shit like that. Like you can't go to this store. Like you can't go to that store, and
Oh
that's
yeah, if
crazy
you
to
like you
live like
said
that, man.
to
That's fucking
to the natives that's from there, yeah,
yeah, to the native. Yeah, that's just crazy to me to think like that. Because the first time I heard someone say that they didn't think that they was gonna live to be like 25 or something was somebody from LA, but then that was like a common statement, you
yeah,
know. And I was like, that's crazy, bro. That's
yeah. Like the
fucking really
generation that
crazy.
we come
You know what
from,
else?
that was the sentiment for sure.
Mm-hmm. Just I'm not, you know, I didn't think I was gonna live to be 25. That's crazy. Cause you know where I'm from, it was never like that. You know,
Yeah,
like motherfuckers was gang banging, but it's a little more laid back. It's you know, it's a lot of squares. Want to be, you know, but
yeah, yeah. Like Pearl
I can't
say
imagine.
in the comments,
I
she
couldn't
say
imagine.
certain street lights you can't stop at. Yeah, certain street lights you can't stop at, and then me, I'm never when I'm in LA and I stop at a red light, I'm never like in the middle lane. You know, I'm always, you know, in a lane
Right.
where I could get away if some shit go down. I ain't trying to be stuck between nobody's cars, none of that shit. And then when I do get gas, I'm always at the end pump. I'm never like in the middle pump or in between shit. I always
In the
get
middle
gas at
pump,
a pump where
just
I could just
blocked in.
pull off if I need to. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I done been in situations. I
Right.
remember back in the days I was on Sunset, man. It's like 2002, 2003. Um, I had an old school Impala. You know, for anybody that follow my Instagram, it's that green Impala that I got a picture of on my Instagram. I was in that car, and it's like 2003. And I was in that car, and I was at the Chevron right there on Sunset and Crescent Heights. And back then, you know, everybody used to congregate at that Chevron, pull up and park and just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
get at bitches, chop it up. And these two different hoods was getting into it. Like some dudes from this area, you know, ain't nobody from Hollywood, but you know, niggas from the hood come up there, they see their enemies and shit like that. So that's what was going on, right? So
Right.
these two dudes was getting into it, and then one dude from one of the hoods, he pulled out a big ass 357. You know what I mean? He had like the Dirty Harry gun, you know? And they was
Right.
right
It
next
was
to
like
my
the
car.
dirty
Then they
area.
start fighting, and they bumping all up against my car and shit. I'm like, damn, these niggas fighting by my car. And the dude with the gun, he started busting in the air. And, you know, the parking lot was packed, and I was stuck between cars for one, so I couldn't get out because of that. And then two, my car used to trip where like randomly it wouldn't start. You know them old school cars where you got to get
Hell
up
no.
under and hit the starter and all that
Hell
shit.
no. Nigga got a
Sometimes I
pump
used to have to
200.
do that. I used
He
to have
got
to
to
go
pump
go
it.
down up under
He
there,
got to
boop boop
pump the
boop.
gas.
Yeah,
That's
so and
crazy.
so I was stuck because, like I said, I was between cars. Even when I did get my shit started up, I was still in between them cars. And then the police come and they see my car stuck right there, so they want to ask me questions and all that shit, and it's just so. But for reasons like that and plenty of other reasons, I whenever I get gas, man, even if it's just second nature now. Even if I'm not in a sketchy area, even if I'm in Beverly Hills or something, because shit be happening over
Yeah.
there too. I always make sure I park at a pump
I'm telling
that
you,
if
man.
something goes down, I could just smash off. I'm always backing into parking spaces. I don't never park
Yeah, I
head
always
first.
back in too.
You know, yeah. So
I I was thinking a long time ago. I was kind of like breaking down the gangbanging shit, and I was having a conversation, I believe, with my brother, and I
uh,
was like, "Do you think that LA gangbanging would have been as prominent as it has been for 40, 50 plus years or whatever if the weather wasn't the way it is?" Because I think a lot of that shit has to do with because it's always so sunny that it allows for people to be hanging out and doing shit and
yeah.
barbecuing and being at parks all day and all that kind of shit. Like, do you think that if the weather was like where I'm from and it rained a lot or whatever, do you think it would have still been the same?
I think it
Like, you think
probably would
gangbang
if
would have been as prominent?
I think it probably would, if not worse. Because one thing about the weather where you
You think
from
so?
is, it's probably depressing for a lot of people. So, people will be in a worse mood, and you got to keep in mind too, gangbanging was started by teenagers. So even when the weather is good or bad or
Right,
whatever, you still got to go to school. You know what I mean, and see people from different neighborhoods
right.
and shit like that. So, and then if you think about Chicago, Chicago one of the most dangerous cities in the country, and they weather probably
Yeah,
right now
yeah,
fucked
definitely.
up. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about it from a hanging out standpoint. Like, niggas is out all day, every day out because the weather allows for you to be out. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
but
be
even
at
even
parks
if it
where,
ain't a lot of
like,
people
over
hanging
here.
outside, just the fact that you from over there, I'm from over here, and
Mm-hmm.
it might be 10 inches of snow outside, but if you and me just so happen to be going to the liquor store at the same time or or whatever, the grocery store, whatever, gas station, whatever, you know what I mean, and we run into each other, it's gonna be some bullshit. So probably not as much
Right.
or not as frequent because of the weather, but shit can still go down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I done seen
Yeah, you
videos.
still get your cat peeled on a rainy day.
Yeah, in Chicago, man, I done seen certain videos where it's snowing like crazy. It's below zero, but they having shootouts. You know what I mean? So, um,
Niggas is wild.
yeah, basically niggas is gonna be
Can you
niggas.
imagine shooting at a nigga at 10 below outside and you shooting at niggas? Who's outside anyway, bro?
Bro, I don't even know how they do it because, you know, I'm no gun specialist, but I don't,
Right.
I don't know if everybody has like the type of glove. Maybe they do. You know what I mean? I don't know because they be into the bullshit, so they probably be having the type of gloves on that they could shoot with.
Right, nigga.
You know what I mean? Because you can't take your gloves off because your hands is gonna freeze. You know what I mean? Like below zero, your hands gonna be aching. Yeah, last thing you're gonna be thinking about
Right.
is pulling the trigger. So I don't know that
Right.
shit. Yeah, they figure it out though.
So
Shit.
I'm fairly new to your platform, right?
Yeah.
Like, I seen, you put up your things like you're gonna talk about this or that, or like Mac Mo might tell me, hey, Freeze is going on the thing, like that's how I catch wind of it or whatever. So I'm fairly new,
Yeah.
but I was gonna ask you, and I don't know if you've already talked about this, so I don't really want to be rehashing if this is I don't want to like rehash if this is something you already done.
Okay.
But how do you feel about um, the state of the game, the state of the females these days in the
Uh,
game? As far as you know, because back when we was turning something out, like they was really with it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But nowadays, these bitches is getting money on accident.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers will hit a bitch on the back end and be like, hey, hit a square bitch and be like, hey, I'll give you $250 for some pictures of your feet, and that's the most money this bitch done ever seen at one time. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
bitches getting in the game on a banana peel too, like these niggas. But I'm just my question is how do you feel, or what do you think about the state of the game and the state of the females in the game now?
Well, as far as the females in the game, um, you know, a lot of them are not interested in, ism, so to speak, or being, pimped on. And I think a big part of the reason for that is because there's so many things nowadays that look better to them than the pimping. Because back
Right,
in the days,
right.
the pimping was the best looking thing, the most appealing thing to a chick in the game because, she breaking on movie stars, she breaking on basketball and football players, she breaking on
Hmm.
these people. So it's not like a thing where she admires these kind of people so much that she want to be in a relationship. Like she gonna say, he rich, so let me quit the game, and he said he gonna take care of me, so let me go be with this rapper or
Hmm.
this star. Chicks, they was more into the game back then, and they was
Yeah.
more, they was, because they was so into the game, they was better at keeping things in perspective. Like, I know he famous and rich and all that, but at the end of the day, he's a trick. So I don't want to be in no
Yeah,
relationship
yeah,
with
they
no
look at
trick.
him just like a trick.
Yeah,
Right,
so
you right,
so I'm
you
I'm
right.
just gonna break on his ass, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But nowadays, like I
Hmm.
said, there's so many things that look better to these chicks than the pimping, and they want to be in relationships with the rapper, the athlete, the movie star, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Uh,
But still want a hoe.
yeah, and it'd be a trip. Like you said, they still want to,
Hmm.
they still want to get down, and you know, at the same time be in a relationship with a
Right.
trick. But it's
Hmm.
it's we live in a time where sensationalism is at an all-time high too. You know, a lot of these chicks, they don't really
This
care
shit
about
crazy.
money. They don't care about I mean, they like money. They like what money does, but they don't, it's not a big deal if they don't have it. You
Right.
know,
Attention is the new drug.
right. And that's all about feeling good. That's why I say the sensationalism is at an all-time high. They really want to feel good,
Yeah.
more than feeling good is top priority. So whatever makes them feel good,
Yeah.
at whatever expense, that's what it is. So you
Heavy,
know,
heavy dopamine.
yeah. And then too, it's just so much, man. It's like it's so much to it, man. Another thing, like I've talked about before, I did a video a little while back called Trick Ray Vision. And I think that's what a lot of these chicks have. They have
Okay.
trick ray vision. That was another reason why, like you said, back in the days, if you turn a chick out, she was more with it. Because
More
one
with it.
one thing that a chick that's messing with some ism knows is that money is not the best thing that a man can give her. Right? So a
Hmm.
man that can only give her money, she's not gonna, dedicate herself to somebody like that. Basically, somebody that's tricking, she not gonna dedicate herself to a trick
Yeah,
because
absolutely not.
she knows that the best thing this trick can do for her is give her some money. But there's another kind of
Which
man that
is
can give her
essentially
something better than money.
it's a friend zone
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of chicks have trick ray vision. So they don't like, because they see every man as a trick, and they see that the best thing in their mind that any man, even whether he pimping or dope dealing or, business owner, famous and rich, whatever it is, in their mind, the best thing that he can do for me is give me some money, right? So they treat everybody like a trick. You know what I mean? That's why, a lot of these chicks, when you out campaigning, they don't even stay in pocket no more. You know what I mean? They walk up to you and ask you if you want to date them. They don't even know how to recognize pimping no more. They don't know how to identify it and stay in pocket, get away from it or whatever. They asking pimping if he want to date them. But like I said, it's because that's the only thing. Oh, I don't know what happened to Hollywood, but that's the only thing they can identify from a man. But again, all that boils down to sensationalism. It's all about feeling good. It don't matter to be good anymore. Being good is not like even a desirable thing. Or their definition of being good is just feeling good. As long as I feel good, I'm good. So, but at the same time though, the requirements of chicks, like I said, a lot of chicks with the trick ray vision, the best thing a man can do for them is give them some money. So that opens them up to all different kinds of men, good, bad, and ugly. You could be a scumbag, but as long as you got the right kind of money that's going to satisfy this chick, you can have your way with her. You know what I mean? You can be scandalous. You can be, a PDF file. You can be, whatever. You can be the most shiesty, grimy dude in existence. But as long as you are willing to get this chick whatever type of money she wants, which in most cases ain't much, you can have your way with her. So the standards for a lot of chicks is very low as far as how, the availability, the access to them, to get in good with them. With most of these chicks, all it takes is some money and you can have your way with them. You know what I mean? So, with it being like that, they easily satisfied. And like I say all the time, a satisfied need no longer motivates. So if they're easily satisfied with a man giving them money and nothing more, then they're not going to be motivated to be better or do better beyond the point of the satisfaction of feeling good, whether it's attention they giving or money they giving, yeah, but, at the same time, most of the men out there don't help the situation. They make matters worse because at the same time that a lot of these chicks, all they want from a man is money. At the same time, you got a lot of these trick ass dudes that encourage that mindset. So, and they don't even trick right anymore. They're not even like good tricks, so yeah, it's a lot of that going on for sure. But listen, man, we've been chopping good game for so long. I didn't even realize that we've been live for almost 4 hours, man. But this one was good though. We're gonna probably have to start doing this at least once a week, man, where I just let people join the chat and we chop up some good game, man. Yeah, this was a good one. Before we get up out of here, let me acknowledge some people. Tyler, as always, man, good looking with the $2 holla. Hit the like button. Appreciate you, man. Bishop Rojas, good looking with the $2 holla. When a 304 leaves, does she become invisible to you? It depends on how she leaves, man. See, me, the only way the door is going to be eternally closed for certain chicks is if they betray me, right? Betrayal is the one thing where the door is going to be eternally closed for you. If you compromise my freedom if you compromise my well-being, if you just violate me in such a way that I consider it to be betrayal, the door is closed forever. But so somebody like that is for sure going to be invisible to a pimp. But if it's just a simple, difference of opinion or misunderstanding or disagreement or something like that, but we part ways respectfully, then she might have action as long as she come back correct. But yeah, that's how I operate. Sin City 16702, good looking with the $2 holla. Can you name which gas stations you won't go to in LA? Man, it's a whole bunch of them. You gotta remember, LA is huge. LA is huge. You know what I mean? So it's a whole bunch of gas stations that I ain't gonna go to. You dig? But most of the ones on Fig, most of them, most of the ones on Fig. I'm trying to think of one on Fig that's cool. The main gas station I ain't going to is the one on the 76 on 111th and Fig. Definitely ain't never going to. I ain't never going there. Shout out to the Denver Lanes though, man, but I ain't never going to that gas station. But it's a bunch of them, man. It's a bunch of gas stations on Broadway that I ain't going to, and it's sad because some of the gas stations on Broadway be cheap, man. It be, because I only mess with Chevron and Shell, and it's a couple of Shells on Broadway that be cheap, man. But I ain't messing around. But that's a long list, though. Ronaldo Jason, as always, good looking with the $2 holla. You keep the H2O tuned or turned until they cut the check. Yeah, man. They gonna have to cut the check, you know what I mean? I can't advertise for them for free, man. You know what I mean? They gonna have to cut a check to a pimp. You dig? Yeah, man. Sylvia say, I ain't going to no hood stores. Yeah, that's how you better safe than sorry. And see, the thing is, this the thing, right? I don't want you to think like that, when it comes to going to certain gas stations and liquor stores or hood stores or whatever, that it's just like it's a crew of thugs just waiting for you to go to the store so they could get you. It ain't like that, you know what I mean? You might go to a certain store 100 times and everything be cool, but you just never know when it's not gonna be cool. You can't predict that. You know what I mean? You can't say, Monday through Friday before 3:00 in the afternoon, as long as I stay within that window of time going to this gas station or this store, I'll be cool. You can't predict it like that. Like I said, you might go to the same spot 100 times and be cool, but all it takes is that one time and some bullshit could happen. So, just to be on the safe side, man, it's just best to avoid certain spots. And then, when you are native to the area or if you spend a lot of time in certain places, that certain spots have reputations. Like this store has a reputation for this type of stuff to go down. This gas station has a reputation for this kind of stuff to go down, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Another gas station I ain't going to is the 76 on Manchester and Fig. Even though y'all seen the video where Sinful was there in the limo and we was over there kicking it, that was just one of them rare moments. Like I said, it's cool. But for the most part, that 76 on Manchester and Fig, pimp ain't going there. You know what I mean? But shout out to the Hoovers, though. You dig? But pimp ain't going there. Yeah, you just got to. That's the rule of thumb, man. Stay out the way. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up, man. If you have not wiped your feet off at the door before you came in, please wipe your feet off at the door on your way out of a pimp's domain. Don Supreme says, Watts gas station near Nickerson Gardens in the Jordan Downs. Hell no. Hey, listen, I'm not even going to Watts for nothing. There's no reason for me to go to Watts. I'm like, Watts ain't got nothing going on for a pimp, man. I'm not going to Watts. There's no reason for me to go. I'm not going to get gas in Watts. I'm not going to eat in Watts. I'm not doing nothing in Watts, man. I'm cool. I'd stay away from Watts. Shout out to Watts, though. It's some good people in Watts. You know what I mean? I'd have met some good people in Watts, hung out, chopped it up with good people from Watts, but I'm not going to Watts. There is no reason for a pimp to go to Watts. You know what I mean? I'm cool. You know, I got some people that I love from Watts, but I'm not going there. You know what I mean? I'm cool. You dig? But as always, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. I appreciate all the shares. I appreciate all the comments, questions, jokes, feedback, input, all that good stuff. I appreciate everybody who joined the chat. I appreciate everybody, or joined the live rather, excuse me. I appreciate everybody who subscribes. I appreciate you hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate all the super chats, the cash apps, the PayPals. I appreciate your support in every which way that you comes with it, man. Y'all already know who it is and what it is. Freeze is it. If you out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.